Hello, hello. Welcome to You Have a Collect Call From. Today, we're going to be going to Maricopa, Arizona, if you will. What's up? What's up, Weston? Let me see right here. Got to turn on the light right quick. Man, and they got this thing jacked up today. It's all bad. Let me see right there. All right. I got to zoom in, if you will. All right, man. What's up with these people? How's everybody doing this morning? All right. Let me see. I still got to zoom in a little bit more. They got the setup there, man. Is that it? I can't move to the right anymore. Oh, okay. There we go. Hopefully they don't move it around. Let me see here. All right. There we go. Hello, hello. What up? What up? I want to give a shout out to my wife, the one and only. What up? What up? Hey, please rise. Please rise. Gonna make sure all my sound effects are working. We're gonna go ahead and drop one flush one before we start up.
All right.
There it is.
Well, not right now. Good morning, Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Please be seated.
Man, I was loud. I almost blew out my eardrums. All right.
Okay, good morning again, everybody. My name is Commissioner Hughes. This is the 8 a.m. initial appearance calendar for Saturday, March 8th.
Saturday?
The court's orders for the taking of DNA samples and fingerprints issued on the first calendar of March will apply to the hearings on this calendar. As we get started in here this morning, I will call each of you into the courtroom. The first person I'll ask to come all the way into the courtroom behind this gray podium right here in front of me. The next two people I will call, I'll ask to move to the two chairs right inside this door. So I'll say one person come into the courtroom, I'll ask the next person to sit in the first chair, the third person to sit in the second chair. So that's how we'll sort of cycle through this calendar. I promise you that if you listen for your name and kind of move in that chair progression, it will make this calendar move much quicker than if you just came from the chair you were in right now into the courtroom. So I know it seems a little bit silly, but if you'll work with me, I promise you that it will get everybody where we need to go faster than if we didn't do that. Okay, once you work your way into the courtroom and you're behind the podium, I will start by asking you to state your full name and date of birth. Then I will tell you what the allegations against you are or explain to you why you're here this morning. I will tell you whether you qualify for a court-appointed lawyer to represent you for whatever it is you're here on. If you do not qualify for a court-appointed lawyer, or even if you do and you don't want to use a court-appointed lawyer, you have the right to hire a lawyer to represent you and be present in any criminal proceedings at your own expense. After we talk about lawyers, I will give you the next court hearing dates and times that you'll be required to attend after this court hearing. And the last thing we'll do while you're in the courtroom is talk about whether you are legally eligible for release from custody. If you are, we will go over what the terms and conditions of your release will be. In addition to that right to the assistance of counsel, you all also have the right to remain silent. These are recorded criminal proceedings. That means anything that you do choose to say in the courtroom this morning will be preserved on the recording and can be used against you at any point down the line. If you have not made arrangements with a private lawyer, you will not have a lawyer representing you in the courtroom here this morning. Because most of you will not be represented and because anything you say could be used against you, I will strongly caution all of you against making any statements regarding the facts about why you're here. I encourage all of you to save any questions, comments, statements that you might want to make about the facts of your case for a hearing where you have a lawyer present to discuss that with before you make any statements that you can't take back. Last thing I'll tell you all before we get started is that all of the information I give you while you're standing in the courtroom will be contained in a written document called a release order. You will get a copy of that document when you're done in the courtroom and you step back into the room that you're in right now. So please don't feel like you need to memorize the dates and times that you get in the courtroom or any other information. You will get all of it in writing, in paperwork. Please keep that paperwork with you wherever you go from here this morning because, like I said, in that paperwork will be all the information that you got while you were in the courtroom. All right, let's go ahead and get started on the calendar. If we could, can I please have Frederick Brandt all the way into the courtroom behind the gray podium, please? Allison Oshana, if you would work your way to that first chair. Taylor Glass, if I could get you to work your way to the second chair, please. Okay, good morning, sir. Can I have your full name and date of birth,
Yes,
please?
ma'am. Frederick Brian Brandt, 11/23/1967.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brandt. And I understand you have made arrangements to have a private lawyer appear on your behalf here. I have him on the line. I also have a lawyer for the state.
Thank you.
I'm assuming, Ms. Gond, are you here on this matter?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Okay, good. Can I please have appearance of counsel starting with the state?
Thank you, Your Honor. Brooke Gahn on behalf of the state.
Good
And
morning,
Zachary
Ms. Gahn.
Ansell, sorry, Judge. Zachary Ansell appearing on behalf of Mr. Brandt.
Good morning, Mr. Ansell. Thank you both for being here. Okay, Mr. Brandt, you are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 1 count of narcotic drug possession, that's a Class 4 felony, 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, which is a Class 6 felony, and 1 count of driving on a suspended license, suspended, revoked, or canceled license. I'm not sure which one it was. That one is a misdemeanor allegation. Based on the information provided to me by law enforcement in a document called the Form 4, I am inclined to find probable cause to support those allegations. Before I do that, any information regarding probable cause the state wishes me to consider in addition to the Form 4?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Ansell, any information, argument regarding probable cause?
No, we're not contesting PC, Judge.
Okay, thank you both. And I do find probable cause to support those allegations. Mr. Brandt, I will tell you, I did not see that your lawyer's notice of appearance was limited to this hearing only. So I have entered Mr. Ansell as your attorney of record. Mr. Ansell, is that correct?
That's fine.
Okay, so any communications from the court going forward will go to Mr. Ansell in regards to this case, so please make sure that you stay in constant communication with him in the event there's any information that you need.
Of course.
Okay, before I go to court hearings, I want to hear argument and recommendation from the lawyers in regards to release conditions, but please, if both of you will not let me forget to come back to court dates. Argument recommendation in regards to release conditions, please, from Ms. Gaunt for the state.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state is aware. I do think Mr. Brandt has a few prior felony convictions, but I believe that they are from a significant length of time ago. I think of approximately 20 or 25 years ago. So given that, and that this is basically a simple drug possession case, the state does not oppose an OR release at this time.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Gaunt. Mr. Ansell, any counter argument, disagreement with the state's OR recommendation?
No, Your Honor, we agree.
Okay, any additional information that you wish the court to consider for your client before I officially impose release conditions, Mr. Ansell?
Just briefly, just in case, Mr. Brandt is a pro bono case for me. He takes care of his elderly parents who called me in a frenzy, and that's why I'm here right now, to make sure everything goes smoothly. He is a man of limited means, and I don't think a bond would be able to be posted in this case. OR is the only sufficient release condition here, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Ansel. Mr. Brandt, I agree with both your lawyer and the state's lawyer. I do note that you do have prior criminal convictions, as the state indicated, from a substantially long time ago. I don't have any concern that based on the allegations against you, you pose a risk of harm to the general public. So I will release you on your own recognizance. Once you're out of custody, like I indicated earlier, please stay in constant communication with Mr. Ansel in case anything comes up, and also to attend your next court hearings. Once you're out of custody, you're also prohibited from possessing any drugs without a valid prescription. You also cannot operate a motor vehicle unless you get a valid driver's license. Okay, that will bring me to next court date. So your next court dates in this matter will be a status conference March 24th. That will be followed by a preliminary hearing March 26th. Both of those hearings will be at 8:30 in the morning. They'll both be in the Superior Court downtown. That will be in your written paperwork, and I'm sure Mr. Ansel will keep you accountable and not let you forget about those dates. Okay, anything else I need to address on this matter, Ms. Gaunt?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Mr. Ansel?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, thank you all very much. Lawyers, you'll get a copy of the paperwork. Mr. Brandt, you will also, if you will step back to your left. Thank you. Lawyers, you are free to remain and observe the calendar. You're also free to disconnect if you choose to.
Thank you.
Okay, can I please have Allison Oshana into the courtroom behind the podium? Corbin Gomez, if you would work your way to the second chair, please. Good morning. Can I have your name and date of birth?
Allison Maria Oshana, 6/24/1995. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Ms. Oshana. You are here on two different matters. The first matter that you're here on is a bench warrant issued by the Superior Court when you failed to appear at a status conference in an existing felony drug case.
Oh.
In that case, you already have a lawyer assigned to defend you, so that lawyer will continue to represent you. I'm not giving you a different lawyer. Your next court hearings in that existing case will be a status conference March 13th, and then a preliminary hearing on the 17th at 8, both of them at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On that warrant, you have a $250 secured appearance bond. The second matter that you're here on is allegations of new charges. Those allegations are one count of dangerous drug possession, a Class 4 felony, and one count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. I have found probable cause to support those new allegations, and I have appointed a lawyer to represent you in that case. Your next court hearings on those new charges will in part be the same as your hearings on the existing case. So you will have a status conference the 13th and a preliminary hearing the 17th. Those are the two that will be the same in both cases. The difference is that on the new charges, because they are felony offenses alleged to have been committed while you were on pretrial release in that existing felony drug case, you are not eligible for release on bond on the new charges. So for those new drug charges, you will be held in custody without bail, at least until an evidentiary hearing is held. That hearing is scheduled for March 14th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Between now and that hearing on the 14th, you will be held without bond. Do you understand that information?
Yeah, a little bit. So that means I can't leave until the 14th, or do I come back for a court date on the 14th?
So you'll stay in custody and be taken to your next...
In jail?
In jail, yeah. You'll stay in jail until the 14th. MCSO will take you to your hearing on the 14th.
Okay.
What will happen after that hearing will be up to the judge you see on the 14th.
That makes sense. So, and I'm not bondable, so I couldn't pay to leave or anything?
Correct. You cannot pay to leave at least until
after
the
March
14th. After March 14th,
then I'll have a bond maybe?
Ask the next judge. So if the next judge gives you a bond, you could post it and be eligible for release. So I don't know what that judge will do.
Okay.
So maybe on the 14th you'll get a bond.
How long am I going to be in jail for?
Until the 14th.
So no more $400 or whatever? I couldn't, because I had someone else going to bond me out today.
Well, you do have a bond on the bench warrant.
Right.
But even if you posted that, you still wouldn't be released at least until you see the judge on the 14th. So you should not, you should not try to post that, because if you posted that right now, you would still stay in custody.
Okay.
So wait until the 14th, go to your hearing on the 14th, see that judge.
What
if you get a bond on the 14th, then you could post the other one and get out of custody.
I understand that. What if I plead a different, if I plead not guilty?
Well, you may have an opportunity to do that at your next hearing.
I couldn't do anything about it though right now?
No, you can't do any of that until the 14th when you see the next judge.
Okay. The only thing I'm confused about is what I did wrong a little bit, just because I had possession of drugs, right?
So the new allegations are possession of dangerous drugs and possession of drug paraphernalia. So those are felony offenses. So what's happening is because the allegation is that you committed new felonies while you were on release in a different felony case, you're not eligible for bond on the new alleged felonies.
That makes sense.
All right. Thank you, Ms. O'Shaughnessy. You can step back and get your paperwork.
And there's no way I could get my bond back?
Shut your
No, you're not bondable on the new charges. So under Arizona law, there are no circumstances under which you can get a bond at least until the 14th.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Taylor Glass to the podium in the courtroom, please. Viviana Rodriguez.
Hey, she's screwed. She's all prendida.
Good morning. Can I have your name and date of birth,
Up
please?
next.
Taylor Ashley Glass, and it's September 18th, 1997.
Thank you, Ms. Glass. You are here on an arrest warrant issued after a direct complaint was filed. A direct complaint is a written document that alleges a new allegation against you. In this case, the allegation in that direct complaint is one count of fraudulent schemes and artifices. It's a Class 2 felony. According to the direct complaint, it is alleged to have been committed. I want to double check and see if it's okay. It's alleged to have been committed November 10th of 2021.
Yes.
Okay, I've appointed a lawyer to defend you against that allegation. Your next court hearings will be a status conference March 13th and then a preliminary hearing March 17th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On this warrant, I have imposed a $10,000 secured appearance bond. Secured appearance means that you can use a bonding company to post that bond if you choose to. If you do post that bond and you're released from custody, you can't have contact with any alleged victims, witnesses, or co-defendants of that underlying allegation if there are any. You also cannot possess any drugs without a valid prescription.
Okay.
Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, so pretty much I can post bond if I would like.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Any other questions?
No, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Glass. You can step back, or it looks like your paperwork's right there. If you want to just grab it and head back to your left.
All right, up next on The Price is
Corbin
Wrong.
Gomes or Gomez, if you would work your way into the courtroom, please. Evan Wynn, if I could ask you to work your way to the second chair, please. Good morning. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Sure, it's Corbin Ellen Gomes,
Thank you.
09-1899.
Appreciate
Thank you very much. So it is pronounced Gomes.
You can call me, yeah,
Okay.
Portuguese. Yeah.
What?
It's Portuguese.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Gomes.
Portuguese.
You are here on two different matters. The first matter that you're here on is an allegation of a new charge. That allegation is one count of possession of a weapon by a prohibited person. It is a Class 4 felony. I have found probable cause to support that allegation, and I've appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference March 13th and then a preliminary hearing the 17th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown.
Relax, buddy.
On the new allegation, I have imposed a $10,000 secured appearance bond.
Let's come back in the
second matter that you're here on is an allegation that new charge violates term 1 of your probation. I've also appointed a lawyer to represent you in the probation case. Your next hearing in the probation matter will be a revocation arraignment March 14th, that one also at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On the probation matter, I have imposed a $1,000 secured appearance bond. So your total bond will be $11,000. It is all secured appearance. If you post that and you're released from custody, you cannot possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. You can step back and grab your paperwork.
All right, up
It's
next
right there on
The
right behind
Price
you.
is Wrong. Good morning.
Viviana Rodriguez to the podium in the courtroom, please.
Today we're
Nancy Ortiz, if you would please work your way to the second chair.
we're in Maricopa
Can I have your name
County.
and date of birth, please?
Viviana Rodriguez, September 6th, 2002.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. You are here on a probation violation warrant. A petition to revoke your probation alleges that you have violated terms 3 and 5. I have appointed a lawyer to represent you. Your next court hearing will be a probation revocation arraignment hearing. It is scheduled for March 14th at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On that warrant, you have a $7,500 secured appearance bond. If you post that and you're released from custody, you cannot possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. You can work your way back to your left. Don't forget your paperwork.
Hey, Starkey, gracias. I highly appreciate
Come on
that.
back.
What does it mean when you said 3 to 5? What does that mean?
3 and 5. So adult probation has alleged that you have violated term 3 of your probation and term 5 of your probation. Both of them have to do with reporting to adult probation. I think 3 is reporting on a consistent schedule, and I think 5 has to do with residence. So either you left a residence approved by adult probation or you were residing at a location not approved. It has something to do with where you were living.
Oh, okay.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez.
Hey, Starkey, highly
Okay, Evan
appreciate
Wynn
that.
to the podium in the
that
courtroom, please.
$4.99.
Taylor Clark, if you would please work your way to the second chair. Can I have your name and date, please?
Evan Wynn, December 8th, 1986.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wynn. You are here on 3 probation violation warrants. In all 3 cases, petitions to revoke your probation have been filed. They all allege that you have violated terms 3, 4, 5, 7, and 15. I have appointed a lawyer to represent you in all 3 cases. Your next court hearing in all 3 matters will be a revocation arraignment March 14th at 8:30 in the probation court downtown. On these 3 warrants, you have a total secured appearance bond of $6,000. It is $5,000 on one of the warrants, $500 on the other 2. So again, total is $6,000, all secured appearance. If you post that and you're released, you cannot possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription.
Okay.
Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wynn. If you'll grab your paperwork, head back to your left, please.
Next.
Taylor Clark to the podium in the courtroom.
Up next, we got Taylor Clark coming in.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Nancy Ortiz. I'm sorry.
Scratch that.
Nancy
scratch
Ortiz,
that.
if you'll work
Nancy
your way
Ortiz.
into the courtroom.
Let's see what's going
Deshaun Randolph, if I
Let's
pronounce
see
that
what's-
correctly, if you
whoa.
work your way to the second chair. Sorry about that. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Nancy Ortiz,
Whose deal is this?
10/21/67.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ortiz. You are here on an allegation of, on allegations of new charges. The allegations are 1 count of using an artifice with the intent to shoplift, a class 4 felony, and 1 count of shoplifting as a class 6 felony. These offenses are alleged to have been committed December 14th of 2024. I have appointed a lawyer to represent you against those allegations because I did find probable cause to support them. Your next court hearings will be a status conference March 13th and then a preliminary hearing March 17th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On these allegations, I have imposed a $2,500 secured appearance bond. If you post that bond and any other bonds you're being held on and you are released from custody, you cannot return to the scene where the underlying allegations took place if you know where that is. You also cannot have contact with any alleged witnesses or co-defendants. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ortiz. If you will take your paperwork and head back to your left, please.
And the reason I think it was a felony
Taylor Clark to
is
the podium
because
in the
she got
courtroom.
caught
Please, Sonia
with a device.
Orozco, if
No,
you would
this is
please work your way to the
Arizona,
second chair.
Maricopa County. We got Taylor Swift. I mean
Good
Taylor
morning.
Clark.
Sorry about that earlier, Ms. Clark. Can I have your name and date of
Taylor
birth, please?
Clark is looking mighty rough.
July 27th, 1994.
Thank you, Ms. Clark. You are here on 2 different matters.
you.
The first matter that you're here on is an allegation of a new charge. That allegation is 1 count of burglary. It is a class 4 felony. I have found probable cause to support that allegation, and I've appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference March 13th and then a preliminary hearing March 17th. Both of them will be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On the new allegation, I have imposed a $2,000 secured appearance bond. The second matter that you're here on is an allegation that that new charge violated term 1 of your probation. I've also appointed a lawyer to defend you in the probation proceedings. Your next court hearing in that probation case will be a revocation arraignment March 14th at 8:30. On the probation matter, you have a $1,000 secured appearance bond. So your total bond will be $3,000. It's all secured appearance. If you post that and you're released from custody, you can't return to the scene where the new alleged burglary allegation took place. You can't have contact with the alleged victim of that offense, and you can't possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions? Okay, thank you, Ms. Clark. If you'll take your paperwork, you can head back to your left.
Clark?
Deshaun Randolph to the podium in the courtroom, please. Alfonso Padilla, if I could ask you to work your way to the second chair, please.
Taylor's about to be going
Good morning,
through
sir.
it.
Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Dijon Randolph, 9293.
Thank you very much, Mr. Randolph. You're here on two different matters. The first matter that you're here on is an arrest warrant issued after a direct complaint was filed. A direct complaint is a written document that alleges new allegations against you. The allegations in that direct complaint are one count of theft obtained by misrepresentation, that's a Class 4 felony, one count of fraudulent schemes and practices, a Class 5 felony, and 7 counts of providing false statements to obtain benefits. All 7 of those are Class 6 felonies. This direct complaint alleges that those offenses were committed February 21st, between February 21st and April 5th of 2021. I have appointed a lawyer to defend you against the allegations in that direct complaint.
Fraud.
Your next court hearing, one second.
I'm thinking it was either a PPP loan or EDD fraud, but I'm guessing it's more likely a EDD fraud because...
Your next court hearings will be a status conference March 13th and then a preliminary hearing March 17th. They'll both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On that direct complaint warrant, you have a $1,500 secured appearance bond. The second matter that you're here on is a failure to comply with court terms warrant issued by the Santan Justice Court. It looks like the underlying allegation in that misdemeanor case was assault. You're entitled to a court-appointed lawyer for purposes of release conditions on the misdemeanor warrant, and I've appointed one for you. Your next hearing on that misdemeanor warrant will be an arraignment hearing March 12th. It'll be at 8:30 in the Santan Justice Court. On that warrant, you have a $50 secured appearance bond. So your total bond will be $1,550. You can use a bonding company to post all of that. If you don't have to, but you have that option. If you post that bond and you are released from custody, you cannot have contact with any alleged victims, witnesses, or co-defendants of the new allegations in the direct complaint, if there are any, and you cannot possess any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
Yeah.
Okay. I think if you'll hang out there for one quick sec, are you recording it right now?
Am I going to OR today or?
You have a bond. So you have a $1,550 bond. If you post that bond, you're eligible for release.
So what is that, like $100 or whatever?
$100.
So you can use a bonding company. My general understanding is that bonding companies require a minimum of 10% down. So 10% of $1,550 would be $150.50, I think. Sounds right. So yeah, probably around $150, but I think that there are also additional requirements that bonding companies impose, and I'm not familiar with what all of those are. So what I will suggest, Mr. Randolph, is if you're interested in using a bonding company to get that posted, when you get back into the jail facility, there's a list of bonding companies and phone numbers, and their phone numbers posted just in various different places. I would say find one of those lists and call some of those bonding companies. All of them are open 7 days a week, 24/7, so you shouldn't have a hard time getting a hold of them. Call 1, 2, you could call all of them if you want to, and see what their specific requirements are, and see if you can find a bonding company that will work with whatever your unique circumstances are.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir. You can go ahead and work your way back to your left.
EDD fraud is
Sonia
unemployment fraud.
Orozco to the podium in the courtroom, please. Ashley Ierly, if you would please work your way to the second chair.
So EDD fraud, if you guys remember during the pandemic,
can I have your name and date of birth?
A lot of people were doing
Sonia
it.
Rosas Orozco, date of birth 3586.
Thank you very much. You are here on an allegation of a new charge. That allegation is one count of shoplifting. It is a Class 6 felony alleged to have been committed December 14th of 2024. I did find probable cause to support that allegation, and I did appoint a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings on that new charge will be a status conference March 13th and then a preliminary hearing March 17th. They'll both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On this new allegation, you have a $1,500 secured appearance bond. If you post that bond and you are released from custody, you cannot go back to the scene where the underlying alleged shoplifting took place, and you cannot have contact with any alleged witnesses or co-defendants. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. You can work your way back to your left.
Well, I had one question.
Oh, sure.
Does that mean the old court dates, does that still?
Yeah, these are new charges. So this is in addition to anything you've already been seen on. So if you already have a bond, you already have court dates, all of that is still in place, and this is in addition to that. Oh, okay. All right, thank you very much.
Que pena getting caught for
Alfonso
shoplifting
Padilla,
and
to
then
the
being
podium in
on
the courtroom,
TikTok.
please.
How
Pamela
embarrassing.
Johnson, if I
Ay,
could
que
please get you
pena.
in the second chair.
Hey, and if you're not tapping, you
Good
must
morning.
be
Can I get
napping.
Sorry.
Alfonso Padilla, 31892.
Thank you, Mr. Padilla. You are here on a probation violation warrant.
Órale,
A petition to revoke your
homeboy.
probation was filed. It alleges that you have violated terms 3 and 5 of your probation. I have appointed a lawyer to represent you.
I'm supposed to go to treatment. I'm on
Hey,
the
shut
waiting
your
list for
mouth.
treatment center.
Your
There's no
Honor's
way I'd
talking.
be able to get OR. Like,
Well, I haven't even
There
told
you
you what
cut
your
it off.
release conditions are yet.
I'm just, you know,
It's
I don't
slow your
normally
roll,
don't give it,
homeboy.
but
Yeah,
I'm not trying to miss out on that.
Oh,
Like,
easy,
You have-
easy.
I'm
Hold
giving
up.
you a lawyer. You have a court hearing. Your next hearing is the 14th at 8:30. You do have a $750 bond on that warrant. So that bond amount is set by the judicial officer that reviewed that petition to revoke and saw the factual allegations as to how you allegedly violated. Because I'm not the one that looked at those facts, I'm not willing to override that judge's determination of the bond. So you will have to post that in order to be eligible for release. It is secured appearance, so you can use a bonding company to get that posted. If you do get that posted, if you do post that and you end up in treatment, please make sure that you're in contact with your probation officer, because if your probation officer can't find you or doesn't know where you are, then you'll end up with new alleged violations.
yeah, when I had called her, that's what she had said, that she put the warrant in. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I tried to get in contact with her before that, but the number, it was no good. She tried to get back at it. So when I got a phone and called her,
good,
she
you
said
said?
that there's nothing she can do. She said just get into treatment.
In this
take the
paperwork
warrant
that
off.
you're going to get, you're going to have the phone number to adult probation. It's not the specific number to your assigned PO, but if you have problems in the future getting a hold of the probation officer assigned to you, use that number in the paperwork. You could program it into your phone. Just call the general adult probation number and say, I can't get a hold of my probation officer. If nothing else, that'll at least put a record in there that you were attempting to contact them.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Padilla.
Probation number was no good. I don't
Ashley
believe him.
Irely to the podium in the courtroom, please. Aaron Moody to the chair.
How many of you guys think that he's going to put that probation number in his phone?
Can I have your name and date of birth,
I think not.
Ashley Irely, 52392.
Thank you very much, Ms. Irely. You're here on two different matters. The first matter that you're here on is a failure to appear warrant issued by the Mayor Justice Court. The allegations in that case appear to be disorderly conduct. It looks like 2 counts of disorderly conduct. You are entitled to a court-appointed lawyer at a minimum for purposes of release conditions in that misdemeanor case. That lawyer will be appointed by the mayor judge at your next court hearing. Your next hearing in Mayor on that misdemeanor warrant will be March 12th at 8:30. On that warrant, you have a $520 secured appearance bond. You're also here on a new felony allegation. That allegation is 1 count of dangerous drug possession, a class 4 felony. I have found probable cause to support that allegation, and I have appointed a lawyer to defend you against that charge. Your next court hearings on that new allegation will be a status conference March 13th and then a preliminary hearing the 17th. Those 2 hearings at 8:30 here in the Maricopa County Superior Court downtown. On the new allegation, you have a $500 secured appearance bond. So your total bond will be $1,020. It is all secured appearance. If you post that and you are released, in addition to getting to all of your court hearings, you are also ordered not to possess any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
So I can just bond out, right?
You can, and if you do, please make sure you get to your court hearing in Mayor on the 12th, and then make sure you're back here in Maricopa County on the 13th for your hearings here.
Is there a way to request for a virtual? Because I'm going into treatment at Buena Vista and Chandler.
I don't know the answer to that for either courts. I don't know what those judges' protocols are, but in your release orders, you have I gave you the phone numbers to both the Superior Court and the Mayor Court.
Okay.
You can call them and ask if they authorize virtual appearance, and if so, what you need to do to get permission to do that.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Ms. Irely. Don't forget your paperwork.
Nicole, thank you for the follow. Hey,
Pamela Johnson to the
if you're not
podium in the
tapping,
courtroom, please.
you must be napping.
Perena V. Hill Brady, if you would work your way to
Come
the
again?
second
Can you
chair,
repeat that again, Your Honor?
Can I have your name and date of birth?
Pamela Johnson, 4/22/1989.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. You are here on a bench warrant issued by the Superior Court when you failed to appear at a status conference in an existing felony drug case. You have a lawyer already assigned to you in that case. That lawyer will continue to defend you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference March 13th and then a preliminary hearing the 17th. They'll both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On that warrant, you have a $500 secured appearance bond. If you post that and you're released from custody, you cannot possess any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
So I'm not going to be released to pretrial services?
No, you have a bond that you have to post.
You ain't going nowhere.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. If you'll grab your paperwork and head back to your left.
Miss Johnson, looking like Warte Mercado. Who thinks she's
Aaron
looking like
Moody
Warte
to the
Mercado?
podium in the courtroom, please. Scott Caulfield, if you'd work your way to the second chair.
She's definitely
Aaron
sporting the
Moody?
Walter Mercado hair, if you will.
Aaron Moody?
Me.
Moody? Gray jacket?
Gray jacket. Que salga el desgraciado.
Full beard?
All right, up next on the podium.
I'm going to
Who's it
take a
gonna
quick
be?
break to review a warrant while we're locating him.
Hey, take your break, Your
No,
Honor.
no problem.
No problema. Hey, and I'll go ahead and take a moment to ask you guys to follow. It's free 99. Doesn't cost you anything. Don't be that person.
Can I have your name and date of birth, please, sir?
Aaron Moody, 9783.
Thank you, Mr. Moody. You are here on two different matters. The first matter that you're here on is allegations of new charges. Those allegations are 1 count of dangerous drug possession, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. I did find probable cause to support those new allegations, so I have appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference March 13th and then a preliminary hearing March 17th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On those new allegations, you have a $100 secured appearance bond. The second matter that you're here on is an allegation that the new charges violated term 1 of your probation. I have appointed a lawyer to represent you in that probation case. Your next hearing in the probation matter will be a revocation arraignment March 14th at 8:30. On the probation matter, you have a $250 secured appearance bond. So your total bond will be $350. It is all secured appearance. Yes.
I have a job that I worked hard to get. I can't lose that job.
Nope,
or
can't
I'm
lose
going to be out on the streets again.
Out on the streets.
Is there any way I can do, because I was off yesterday because of the rain.
You got rest on your day off?
I go back in Monday. I can't lose my job.
Don't trip, you got 2 days.
So are you saying because you have a job you want these bonds eliminated? Is that what's going on?
No, it's a break just to be able to work. So I don't want to lose my job.
Well, I'm not prohibiting you from working. So you have to post this bond in order to be eligible for release from custody.
I don't have anybody to post that.
So you can use a bonding company. So you could try to get a bonding company to work with you. There's some phone numbers back in the jail you can call. So your option is try to use a bonding company to get it posted. Otherwise, you will be held at least until the 13th, I think, till the 13th when you go to your first court hearing.
I'll lose my job.
Yeah.
You can call your job and try and see if they'll give you some days off. I can't help you
call
with
it from
working
jail.
your job situation. All I can tell you is you have to post that bond in order to be eligible for release.
So how much would it be to get out?
$350.
It's a $350 bond. If you use a bonding company, they might have different requirements, but I don't know what their requirements would be. So you could check with them before you try to.
There are bonding companies that'll help me get.
I don't know. You have to call the bonding companies on that list. You could call all of them if you want to and see if you can find one that will work with you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Moody. You can go ahead and work your way back to your left. Ms. Vigil Brady, if you'll stay in the chair for 1 quick second for me, I need to take a quick break to handle an urgent matter, then we'll get back on track.
Urgent matter, you say? Did somebody say urgent? Hey, so this is Maricopa County initial court appearances, if you will. If he's working, he should have the 350 bones, right? That's what I'm saying. But I did see him get all itchy and stuff. I wonder what's causing that. Hey, hey, gracias. Highly appreciate that. Send a happy 8 merch. Gracias. Where are we running after? I don't know. Maybe we'll go down to Dade County. Might be going down to Florida, Miami-Dade. Hey, road trip. Gracias. Good morning. Hey, what's up, Ostrich? How's it going? He was confused. He knew what time it was. It's not his first rodeo. Other people be walking in here, be acting like they never been in front of the judge before. Is this live cases? You ask? Let me see right here. Yeah, I thought that too. She has to.
Okay, my apologies for that delay. Thank you all for your patience. Miss Vigil Brady, if I could ask you to work your way into the courtroom, please. Tracy Reyes, if I could ask you to work your way to the second chair.
Just here a few hours ago.
Can I have your name and date of birth?
Serena Vigil Brady, 5193.
Thank you, Miss Vigil Brady. You are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 1 count of aggravated assault as a Class 2 felony, 1 count of endangerment, a Class 6 felony, and 1 count of simple assault, which is a Class 3 misdemeanor. I have found probable cause to support those allegations, and I have appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference March 24th, and then a preliminary hearing March 26th. Both of those hearings will be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. I am releasing you to the supervision of pretrial services, so you will be released from custody without having to post a bond. Once you are out of custody, it will be your responsibility to get to both of your next court hearings.
Thank you, Foxy.
You'll also be required to make contact with pretrial services once you're out. Their contact information will be in a packet that you get with your release order, so please keep both of those things. Also, once you are out of custody, you are ordered not to have contact with the alleged victim in this case, and you cannot possess any weapons or possess or consume any alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
Is the victim the state of Arizona? That's what the officer told me.
No, the state of Arizona is the prosecuting agency. The victim is the person that you allegedly assaulted.
Okay.
Who did she beat?
And I live in New Mexico, so can I go back and come back
You ain't
on the
going
23rd?
nowhere. Nope.
Or do I need to stay here?
You're staying.
If I ordered you to stay here, do you have a place to stay independent of a location also occupied by the alleged victim?
Not really.
Okay. Yeah, then I will allow you to travel between Arizona and New Mexico. The only caveat is you must return, so you have to physically be present back in Arizona by midnight on the 23rd so that you can be present for your court hearing on the 24th.
Okay.
Yes, I wanted to make sure I had those dates right. So yeah, your first court hearing is the 24th at 8:30, so you have to be back in Arizona by March 23rd at midnight. Okay, anything else we need to talk about?
Ostrich, gracias.
Okay, we'll get your paperwork reprinted with your authorization to go to New Mexico. If you'll step back to your left, we'll bring it out to you here shortly. Thank you. Scott Caulfield to the podium in the courtroom, please. Donald Gonzalez, if I could get you to work your way to the second chair. Good morning. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Scott Caulfield, 5579.
Thank you, Mr. Caulfield. You are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 1 count of criminal trespassing, a Class 6 felony, and 1 count of causing criminal damage. That one's a Class 2 misdemeanor. I have found probable cause to support those allegations, and I've appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference March 24th, and then a preliminary hearing March 26th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. I am releasing you to the direction of pretrial services with the condition of electronic monitoring. What that means is you will be released from custody. You do not need to post a bond, but prior to your release, you will be affixed with an ankle monitor. Once you are released from custody on that ankle monitor, it will be your responsibility to get yourself to your next court hearing. You are also ordered not to return to the scene where the alleged trespassing offense took place, and you cannot have contact with the alleged victim or owner of that location. You also cannot possess any drugs without a valid prescription once you're out of custody. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes. I believe so. One question.
Sure.
Does that include cannabis?
I've
had a
yes and no.
He wants to hit the reefer.
If you are a medical user of cannabis and you have a prescription for it, as long as you're within the limits of your prescription, you're okay. If you are not a medical cannabis user, you'll treat the no drugs without a valid prescription the same as you would Tylenol, ibuprofen. If you could go in someplace and buy cannabis over the counter within the recreational limit, you can possess that, but you cannot possess it over the limit that you're allowed to have. So either over the recreational limit if you're a recreational user, or over the medical limit if you're a medical user. But if you're a medical user, you have to have a valid prescription.
Wait, what? Can you
Thank
repeat
you.
that?
I don't know if that answers the question, but hopefully.
It does. I'm in trades, and I just at night I use it. So.
Okay, if you're recreational, just stay within the recreational threshold. It would be no different than Sudafed, ibuprofen, anything like that.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
No.
All right, thank you, sir. You can step back and get your paperwork. Tracy Reyes to the podium in the courtroom, please.
Good morning.
Alexander Welsh to the chair, second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Tracy Reyes, 11/20/92.
Thank you, Ms. Reyes. You are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 2 counts of disorderly conduct and 2 counts of assault. They are all class 2 misdemeanors. Excuse me, they're all class 1 misdemeanors.
What is this?
I have found probable
TV?
cause to support those 4 allegations. I have determined that you are entitled to a court-appointed lawyer to represent you. That lawyer will be appointed for you at your next court hearing by the next judge you see. That hearing will be an arraignment hearing April 1st. It'll be at 1:30 in the afternoon in the Surprise Municipal Court. I am releasing you on your own recognizance, so you will be released from custody. That means it's going to be your responsibility to get to that hearing April 1st. Once you are released from custody, you are ordered not to return to the scene where these events allegedly took place, and you cannot have contact with any alleged victims or witnesses. You are also ordered not to possess any weapons, drugs without a valid prescription, or alcohol once you are released from custody. And if any orders of protection have been served upon you or are later served upon you, you must strictly comply with the terms of those orders. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, I have questions. Would I be able to go get clothes from that property?
Yeah, so if that's your primary residence where you otherwise have personal belongings there, you can go back to that location one time between when you're released and April 1st, but you have to be accompanied by a law enforcement officer. So if you intend to go back there to get clothing, toiletries, whatever you have there, please call the non-emergency number to any local police agency and work with them to have an officer escort you to that location. And then once you get there, please retrieve everything that you might need between when you're there and April 1st, because you can only do that one time.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
No, that's
all right. Thank you very much. You can step back and get your paperwork.
Hey, Tony,
Donald Gonzalez to the podium in the courtroom, please. Enrique Perez Contreras, if you would please work your way to the second chair.
So they're always restricting my
Can I have your
account.
name and date of birth, please? Yep, right there.
So I had to cut it.
Donald Gonzalez.
But it's back up. But this
And
one's
what's your date
better
of
over
birth?
here.
Oh, January 23rd, 2006.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
Yeah,
You
of
are
course.
here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 2 counts of assault and 2 counts of disorderly conduct. They all 4 are class 1 misdemeanor allegations. You are entitled to a court.
Ah, she turned off the audio. Why she do us like that? So I'll go ahead and take this opportunity. What the hell? What just happened? Let's see. Let me fix up the screen over here. Okay, so sometimes a lot of the times they'll restrict my stream, so I gotta go ahead and cut them before I get banned. So that's why I do that. I don't trust me. I'm not trying to cut it when I got over 100 people watching, but sacrifices will be made, if you will. So I'm not sure why I'm not sure why she cut the audio. I have no control before people start freaking out. I can't hear. Turn it on, James. What? I can't hear. It's not me. It's the court. That's why you could hear me, and that's why you heard that little noise, if you will. Let me fix up the screen right here, and hopefully it comes back. If it comes back, cool. If it doesn't, I got no control over it. So that's what it is. Before you start getting in the chat, freaking out. Let me see right here. Anyway, so I'll go ahead and take the opportunity. And if you haven't done so, please do so. Hit that follow button, man. Hook me up. Don't be that person. All right, there we go. Let me see what this guy do that she didn't want us to hear. I wonder. He's looking mighty serious. His posture there is saying, "I do not want to be here." He got his arms crossed, kind of a half drop down cross, if you will. We're watching Maricopa County. What do you guys think this guy did? Trying to look all studious and whatnot with them glasses, looking all trying to look professional. Hey, Michelle, good morning. Welcome to You Have a Collect Call From. Can you see what his charges are? Naps. I don't even know his name. How am I gonna look up his charges? I don't even know his name. Come on now. Why they cut the audio? I don't know. I don't know. That's the $1 million question. She didn't give anything. Good afternoon from the UK. That's right. Hey, welcome back, baby. 1ball 2K 2.0. Maybe I don't know, cause they normally don't cut it for that. I don't know. It was weird. I heard like a little tone, and then it went out. Hey, what's up, Kristen? 3.25, 2.0 recovery. Bunny, welcome to you. Have a collect call from. Let me see what I'm gonna do. Let me see that. Make sure everything's good over here. And I didn't touch anything. Yep, the audio is on. So on my end, so they cut it for some odd reason. Who knows then? That is right, Sarah. Maybe child-related offenses. I read that already. Anyhow, I think this one should be ending soon. As soon as this one ends, hey, what's up, Tita? How's it going? As soon as they cut this one, then we're gonna go ahead and jump on over to Dade County, Miami-Dade County. So don't you worry. I know you guys, a lot of you guys are impatient, and you guys want to know what is being said in the background, but pues ni modo. Yeah, Miami. Yes, writes Tony. Let's just jump over now because we can't hear nothing. OMG, writes Foxy_Foxy. Not quite yet, Winston. You're getting a little bit ahead of yourself there. What about if it comes on? Then we're going to miss out. You know what I'm saying? If you will. What do you guys think this punk rocker did? You see? You heard that? That was the court. Oh, somebody's waiting in the lobby. Let's see right here. I was talking about homies. Look. Oh, yeah. Let me see right here. Hear ye. Let me see. Bingo's mom, I think they accidentally hit it when getting a sip of coffee. Hey, quite possibly she cut it. But let's see. I think this might be it already. So let me go ahead and get Miami-Dade County ready. Let me see. Let me find my Zoom. Where was my Zoom button at? I need we're here. Zoom workplace. All right. Let's get Dade County here. Oh, is it back on? Oh, nah, she didn't turn it on yet. Getting me all excited, making all those little tones and whatnot. Let's see, let me move this here. All right, we're opening up Zoom, if you will. And I think that's it because I don't see anybody else coming in. Okay, here we go. Join meeting. What the what? All right, my Zoom is a little bit slow right now, but we'll be getting in right now. Here we go. Here we come. Dade County, here we come. We're just waiting for them to allow. Oh, no, hold on. I'm going into the wrong meeting here. I'm trying to go on. Let me see. Join meeting. The what? James, I can hear the little noise. Or rather, cell calls. Let me see. Here we go. Virtual bond hearing. Here we come. Dade County. Here we come. Hey, what's up, Kay? How's it going? The judge definitely did us dirty, but don't trip us because we're here. Okay, we can. Are they talking over here or what? It looks like all right, looks like the hold on, let me make sure. Let me see audio settings here.
Please never appeared on this case before. This was a promise to appear.
Right, Your Honor. It appears so.
I see a thumbprint. So I assume he did promise to appear, failed to show, and it was a $10,000 agreement.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's the state's position in this case.
Judge, we'd be asking for elevated bond in the amount of $1,000 for this one.
Defendant? What's your position?
All right, there you go, guys. You guys can see now.
Your Honor, we'd be just requesting the standard bond. This is a petty theft allegation from public.
Interpreter speaking. If you hear me, I'm still on the line.
The purpose of the bond is to ensure that he appears for court, and he didn't appear for court on this case originally. So, does he have a local address? Fine.
He does have a local address, Your Honor. Would you consider PTS?
I won't consider pretrial services. Just wanted to make sure that he lives locally.
Yeah.
Or setting aside a previous conviction. The Law Library Resource Center can help. Look for a full schedule at Superior Court. .maricopa.gov/LLRC. For juveniles being held in detention, information on our detention center is available on our website, Superior.
Case number 2427926.
Total 750.
Hello?
Correct.
Hello, my name is Jorge, the Lion Breed interpreter. Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
Bonnie Mesa?
My name is Hamilton. I am the Lion Breed Spanish interpreter.
Hello, this is Camilo. I am a Lion Breed Spanish interpreter.
Where's that coming
Mr. Mesa, you're charged with trespass after warning.
I think I'm kind of confused on what happened. Should I stay online, or
I think
who I'm speaking with?
Yeah, this is Hamilton. I am an interpreter as well, so I'm confused as well. I don't know what happened, but there's two of us on the line.
Do we have somebody else on the line?
I am Jorge.
Was the state's position?
Yes, I am Jorge. I am the Lion Breed Spanish interpreter as well. Spanish.
Judge, the state would be asking for an elevated bond in the amount of
$3,000.
So there's
reason being, I understand it's a trespass. However,
is anybody else?
There's a lot of priors. A lot of them very recently from 2024.
There are three interpreters here.
Issues.
There are three Spanish interpreters here. Is there anybody else?
A lot of trespasses, Your Honor. I could count them up, but it's definitely over 10 in the last couple of years.
This is weird.
Does have a lot of petty theft as well. Petty theft, trauma conviction, felonies, grand theft. So.
What's the standard bond?
The standard would be $500.
What's your position?
Your Honor, wait. Can he?
I think that was the other court. I think that was Maricopa County.
I don't get it.
Corrections, would he qualify?
He's in the turtle suit. They got him in the
A TAP
turtle
representative is not here on the weekend.
In that case, Your Honor, would be requesting the standard bond for the trespass.
Based on his history, we'll set the bond at $500. And there's going to be a stay-away order for apartment building located at 1446 Ocean Drive, Miami Beach, Florida.
Oh, come on. We want to hear what he's saying. Adios, amigo, adios. Vayas con Dios. All right, up next. I'm sorry. Were his charges, Tony? No sé, Tony. I don't know.
Here's Tony Wignard.
Oh, Tony, that's you. You're up next. How'd they know you were here?
They're bringing him in, Your Honor. One moment.
They're bringing him in. Oh, there he is.
Good morning, sir. You're charged with trespass at 826 Collins Avenue.
This guy's in for trespassing. How dare he?
Probable cause. State, what's your position?
Just one question. Corrections. Was he out on felony bond for case F2426451 before this?
I don't have it on my jail card. What's the case number?
It's F2426451.
I don't like this
You
judge.
say
I like
he has an open case, or
Yes, Your Honor. He has a couple open cases. I'm just asking if he was on bond before he picked this case up.
what is the open felony?
It's a cocaine possession, drug paraphernalia with an intent to use, and a camping prohibited.
Yes, he's out on bond. I show his next court date is 3/24.
Judge, we'd be asking to place a hold on the felony and then ask for standard bond in this case of 500.
Hey, if I happen to cut the
Set the
stream,
bond at $500 in this case.
it's because they say yayo.
And Your Honor, are you granting the hold? The defense would be objecting to the hold. It's a trespass.
Judge, that state's position that he picked up a case after he was already out on felony bond. Therefore, we'd ask that you grant the hold and let the felony judge deal with the bond, however they want to address it.
You know what?
Do I have authority to do that if that case isn't in front of me today?
Yes, Your Honor. You're the first appearance judge for the other case. You could hold him. You're not changing the felony bond. You're just putting a hold on it so he can't get out.
Correct, Your Honor, and that is because he picked up an allegation of trespass.
I understand. All right, I'm going to place the felony hold on the other case.
And the bond on the new case is $250, you said?
$250?
I'm sorry, Judge, we can't hear you.
$500.
Yeah.
I got restricted. Yep, I'll be back. I'll be back on the big account. Okay, I'm gonna cut it right now. I'll be back in 2 seconds. I'll be right back. See, I knew it. I knew they were gonna. I knew I was gonna get hit because of them saying that. It's weird. You know what? So this account that's up right now.
Stay away order 2 here.
Yes, Your Honor, it should have been one of the bottom.
That's my UK account. My UK
can
account.
you bring him back, please? I'm sorry. Corrections. Yves Guinard to stay away.
My UK account doesn't get hit like my American account for some odd reason. It's not like the one that says YT, the CollectCallFrom on YT. That one doesn't get hit, but my American account.
Mr. Guinard, you're also ordered to stay away from the property at 826 Collins Avenue, Miami Beach.
It's always going down. Judge doesn't know what he's doing, apparently.
Since you have an open felony, there's going to be a hold on that case until you can appear in front of the division judge.
You know what? I'm gonna fix the. Let me fix the screen really quick, so we could get a better picture.
Kevin T. Campos.
There we go.
Is Mr. Campos here? Mr. Campos, you're here on a warrant.
Right now in Miami, it's 11.
Is there already a written plea or in here? What's this posture of this case? This is case number B24559.
And that has 2 counts on that case.
Petty theft?
Right. It looks like the defendant was ROR'd, possibly at first appearance or at some point, and then he did not appear for his next court date, so the bench warrant was issued, Your Honor.
Right, Archer's right. I'd love to go to Miami Beach to see the Gulf
Right, Your
of
Honor, because
America.
it's an open case at the moment. He picked up a bench warrant by not appearing for a status date, for a report date.
What would the state have me do?
Well, Your Honor, the state for the bench warrant case would ask you to convert the bench warrant amount into the bond, which would be $650. Yeah, which would be $650.
Okay. Set the bond on count 1 at $150 and count 2 $500.
Your Honor, would you consider granting pretrial services for Mr. Campos?
Not when he already failed to appear for court.
Noted.
He has a second case.
Right, that's another petty theft, Your Honor.
Case number 23-15684. Is this the same posture?
It looks like it, Your Honor.
Petty theft? You failed to appear?
Yeah.
Right, what's the state's position?
We're asking for you to convert the bench warrant amount, so again, 150 for this one.
Hopefully that answers anybody's questions. If you will.
$150 bond.
What up, my people? If you're not tapping, you must be napping. What up? Let's get to that.
You'll appear in front of the division judge.
Hey, thank you, Barbie. Highly appreciate it. What's the date again?
There's also a stay away order.
Aye, Tracy.
Mr. Campos, you're ordered to stay away from the Home Depot at 12005 Biscayne Boulevard.
What up, Mr. Jones? How's it going? Up next on The Price is Wrong. What do you guys think this upstanding citizen just did?
Daniel Ambrose. Mr. Ambrose, you're charged with petty theft. We're going to review the arrest affidavit. Court finds probable cause for the petty theft charge. What's the state's position on bond?
Judge would be asking for an elevated bond in the amount of $2,000. Reason being, he has 3 petty theft convictions, 2 of them being from 2024, late 2024, 1 being from 2023, along with 2 felony petty theft withholds from 2024. He keeps picking up the same charge again. So for this reason, we're asking for an elevated bond.
Hey, what up, S? How's it going? Welcome.
Hey, Your Honor, we'd be asking for the standard bond in this case. The defendant is homeless, and the allegation is they were stealing Ensure from Walgreens.
Ensure? Yeah, he's just trying to eat.
I understand the other petty theft convictions, but it's always food. In this case, it's a protein shake.
Jennifer writes.
Set the bond at $500.
Jennifer writes, in Ohio, the only...
Is there a stay away order? Yes. Mr. Ambrose here was ordered to stay away from Walgreens at 151 Northeast 54th Street.
I like your content. Hey, thank you. It's Tracy, right? Let me see. No, let him go. So Jennifer writes, in Ohio, they only do court during the week. If you're arrested on Friday, you'll stay there until Monday. A lot of places are like that, so that's why a lot of people they're confused that there's court today.
Alan Babasa Salas.
Eleanor writes.
A bench warrant on what?
On a petty theft, I believe, rather.
Another petty theft. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of more people coming in with petty theft with the price of food going up, people losing their jobs. It's going to be crazy out there. And it's just going to be a vicious cycle.
Okay, what's your position?
Very unfortunate. You ever come to Boston?
2 pairs of sunglasses from Walmart.
Right.
Glasses from
does he have sunglasses? A local address.
Total value $34.94.
34.94.
Does he have a local address and a reference for pretrial services?
I'm already getting next.
He does. I can read it for you.
Okay.
That's right.
And just to confirm, this is Mr. Rabasales?
Rabasales.
I have, well, the way it's spelled is Babasa Salas.
Come again?
Got it. Address 12974 Southwest 20th Terrace, Miami, Florida 33175.
Are you agreeing to pretrial services?
Yes, Your Honor. Pretrial services with the alternate in the amount of $1,000, which was the bench warrant amount.
And he was trying to
pretrial
protect
services with an alternate bond of $1,000.
He was trying to protect his eyes from the sun. You know, sun
There's a stay away order.
Be beaming in your face.
Robert Salas, you're to stay away from the Walmart at 8651 Northwest 13th Street.
Oh, gotcha. It's hot out there in Miami. You know what I'm saying? UV is a thing. I'm surprised he didn't get a bottle of what do you call it, the UV sunblock. You know, that 50 SPF, if you will. Spring break, spring break is coming, so stay away from Walmart. Agua Ricetita. I can't get my woman. I used to love shoplifting
Christopher
myself.
Thomas John Yarima.
Your Honor, Joanne Hennessy on behalf of the city of
Suntan
Miami Beach.
Lotion, SPF.
Okay. This is a camping ordinance violation.
Camping? Oh man, this sucks. You can't sleep on the beach. They'll arrest you for sleeping on the beach out there. So if you're out there in Miami-Dade, don't fall asleep on the beach or the park. You will be here, and if you do come here, please give me a shout out at CollectCallFrom. James, hey, I want to go ahead and say it. And a shout out to James at CollectCallFrom.
Do you have his prior record?
I do, Your Honor. He's got several priors. From 2018, he has an assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill and some damage to property. And there's also in 2016 a similar charge in Monroe County. And then other failures to comply in open containers in Monroe County. We'd ask for the standard bond in this case.
Well, I don't think there is a standard bond for the municipal ordinance violation, is there?
There is, Your Honor. It's $150.
$150. Are his priors convictions or arrests? Convictions,
Your Honor. There are other arrests that I did not mention that are more recent, but civil infractions and things like that. But and a felony from 2024, but that was not. It was closed. So
hey, what up?
I'm not sure what happened with that.
You're late. You're on the late train. Did you roll up your mattress?
Okay, so anything you'd like to say? It says he was offered shelter and refused.
No, Your Honor, just to note for the record that all of the convictions are from out of the county and that everything in Dade County was no pros. We would.
So what is the relevance of it being out of the county?
What am I
just for my edification? Does that mean it doesn't count?
It's the defense position that you shouldn't take it into account as the same magnitude as the priors that are in Dade County.
Well, that is a novel argument, I have to admit, but okay, I'm going to find probable cause, set the bond at $150.
Laughing out loud.
Is there a stay away order requested here?
Yes, Your Honor, if the state could help me out, it's
waking up late, come on.
33rd.
You're supposed to be up for Yayo.
Service Road.
32. What was it again? 33rd?
3300 Beach Service Road. Thank you.
Okay, sir, you're ordered to stay away from the location where you were found camping overnight.
Man, that's crazy. Okay. I can't wrap my head around that. Sleeping on the beach, on a public beach, and they arrest you for sleeping on the beach. What is this world coming to?
William Price.
This case, should be explained. It'll stay weird.
Man, you can't even sleep in your car without getting arrested now. That's sad. He must not have anywhere else to go. Yeah, a lot of people don't. Either by choice or by circumstance. And you'll see a lot of these cases up there in Miami.
Mr. Price here. Mr. Price, you're charged with petty theft.
There's a lot of petty theft Saturday.
Of a bike?
A bike? He was just trying to go somewhere.
Court finds that there's probable cause. State, what is your position on the conditions of release?
Judge, we'd be asking for elevated bond amount of $1,000. While his priors are pretty old, there are some pretty serious priors. A lot of grand theft, battery from 1999.
That's right,
have
Tony.
Robbery by force in 1986, assault or battery in 1982. I understand these are old priors, however, they are serious, which the court should take into account.
So when was the last time he had any kind of serious violent felony?
Violent felony, Your Honor, those would be the ones.
In the 80s?
And some of them in the 90s, yes.
Damn, they're bringing up stuff from 1982. Hey, the system never forgets. They're going to use everything. to try
Your
to
Honor, we'd be
lock
requesting
you
that he's
up.
released on his own recognizance in light of the prior convictions that are over 25 years old.
They're almost like 40 years old.
It looks, in Dade County is all I have access to. It looks like his last run-in with the law was over 20 years ago.
In any event, if it makes it easier, we're okay with standard bond in that case of 150. In light of the defense's request for an ROR.
He doesn't have any local address, counsel?
I believe he's homeless, Your Honor.
Well then, tell him to stay away from the beaches, cuz if not, he'll be back.
I'll move right back with him.
Your Honor, we can provide an address.
Yeah, I'll move right back with him.
Hold on. Pretrial services will take him. I'll do it with an alternate bond of 150.
Judge, he needs a local address for pretrial services.
He says that he has one.
Oh, okay.
So let's,
yeah.
counsel, you're going to have to provide it for us on the record.
Here you are, Your Honor. Slowly.
Damn, the DA is definitely
892
Northwest
14th
Street.
14th Street,
Florida City, Florida.
Florida City, Florida.
Zip code 33034.
Zip code 330
33034.
33034.
34.
Foe. Come on, get that foe at the end.
Okay, so it's pretrial release with an alternate bond of 150.
150. Let me see. Tony writes, give him a place to stay. Like elephants, they never forget and want you to know that. Yup. That's why I wouldn't want to go in front of this court, because they'll be bringing up stuff from back in the 90s. Pay the 150. They'll make me out to be the baddest man out there. Ostrich writes, if they let everyone else will come and the beach would be kind of messed up for tourists. No offense. I would want to see Mindy at that.
Your Honor,
this
for
point.
Mr. Prevalon, we'll need the services of a Creole interpreter.
Creole,
do we have a Creole interpreter?
Your Honor, I can contact one. I can have a Creole interpreter come online. There will be a few minutes.
Damn, you were fast.
Like if you don't mind passing the case while I contact the interpreter, and then
Yes,
Thank
you. Pass.
okay. Thank you. Thank you, Judge. Thank you, corrections.
Yeah, this will popped out of nowhere. Like, bam, I'm right here. Never seen
we
it
have
coming.
Lionel Godinez Funes.
Funes? Yeah, he's a little fella.
And Your Honor, we'll need the services of the Spanish interpreter for this gentleman.
No English.
Present, Judge.
He said no English.
Yes.
Don't
Even
trip.
with a red folder, I thought I was in trouble.
Don't trip. Don't trip. I could interpret. Don't even worry about it. I got
There's
it.
two.
I got the little fella.
This was the dependency case. Thank you. We have a Spanish interpreter.
Aquí estoy, present.
He's
probably getting the Creole interpreter, Judge.
Fun size.
Judge, I'm present. I can do this case and then call the Creole interpreter. I mean, it happened to be right after the other, so I haven't had a chance to contact them yet.
This is Mr. Godinez Funes, charged with an open container near a store.
Damn.
Señor Godínez Funes se enfrenta el cargo de tener una lata de alcohol abierta cerca de una tienda.
This guy's Venezuelan. He sounds Venezuelan.
Okay.
Oh no, Colombian. He's
Judge,
Colombian.
I think by the A form, the defendant's homeless, we'd be okay with an ROR and placing him on the homeless calendar.
La fiscalía no tiene inconveniente en que lo dejen para el calendario de indigentes.
The homeless calendar. What the
Thank
what?
you, State.
El defensor le da gracias a la fiscalía.
All right, Tony.
Well, the court finds probable cause.
¿Hay motivo fundado para el arresto?
Release the defendant on his own recognizance. How does he
Le
get
van a dar
notice for court?
You're about to give it to him, Your Honor. There should be some dates for the homeless calendar. Yeah.
A continuación le van a dar la fecha de cuándo regresar. Tiene que volver.
Yes.
Yeah, does it say?
Sticky in my face? Okay, he has to report for the homeless calendar on April 9th, which is tomorrow?
No, April 9th.
April 9th, I'm sorry.
Tiene que regresar el 9 de abril a la corte. 9 de abril tiene que volver.
Courtroom 6-7 at 9 o'clock.
Es en la sala 6-7 a las 9 de la mañana. Sala 6-7 a las 9 de la mañana. Ahí le van a anotar en un papel cuando tiene que volver.
Okay, sir, if you forget the date, call the clerk's office and they can tell you when you're supposed to be there.
Si se le olvida la fecha, llame al secretario del tribunal, a la oficina del clerk. Ahí le dicen cuándo tiene que ir, pero tiene que volver.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there a stay away order in this case?
No, Your Honor, not for compensation.
So he's released on his own recognizance.
Entonces se puede ir para la casa, vuelva ese día cuando le dicen ahí el 9 de abril. Just going to contact the current interpreter now.
Do we have the Creole interpreter?
No, Judge, I said I'm gonna call her right now.
Right.
I thought you had already taken care
Luis
of that.
Carlos Rivas. Mr. Rivas, you're charged with petty theft at a Target on Flagler Street.
Let's see what he took. What do you guys
The
think
court
this guy
finds
is?
probable cause. State, what's your position?
Judge, we'd be asking for elevated bond amount of $1,000. Reason being, he had 1, 2, 3, 4.
What up, H?
Grand theft, third degrees from 2023 and 2022. There are withholds, however, theft related. And he also has a burglary of a non-occupied structure, withholds from 2023, as well as a felony battery withholds from 2009. So given his priors, we'd be asking for an elevated bond.
Defense?
Your Honor, be asking for the standard bond in this case. It's a petty theft, and these cases are from 10 years ago.
Well, not the 2024.
Yeah. No.
Petty theft, shoplifting.
I'm going to set the bond at $500.
From Target. They haven't said what he stole yet, though.
I assume that's a stay away order from the Target.
Right, Your Honor.
Let me see.
Oh shit! What time is it?
You're to stay away from the Target at 10101 West Flagler Street.
Shit, I forgot. I forgot. Pima County started at 8 o'clock. How come nobody reminded me? What's up with you guys? Why is he in handcuffs? Everybody's in handcuffs. That's just standard protocol
Matthew
there.
Leon Felder, charged with petty theft, sir, at the Walmart in Miami Gardens.
Should we go to Pima? I think Pima's on right now. We could go to Pima. We might
Court
get a
finds
little bit more
probable
action
cause.
over there. Okay.
What's the state's position on custody?
Let me see here. Let's do Pima County. How come you guys didn't? How come nobody says anything, man? Come on now.
Judge, we're going to be asking for elevated bonds in this case. In the amount of
do with his shot up two parked vehicles, all while apparently looking for rival gang members to shoot. Later, the defendant decided to live stream himself with a new firearm.
Live stream? What the what?
Ms. Johnson, did you wish to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Davis has a juvenile probation hold. Given that, we would just ask that you impose a nominal bond for 10.
Damn, we were missing out on this over here. I'm over there falling asleep on freaking Miami-Dade. Come on, guys. You guys need to keep track of the time over here.
Sir, I'm going to order that you be held on a $30,000 cash or secured bond. You will be supervised by pretrial services if you are able to post that. You will also need to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions they give you. You are not to possess any firearms or weapons. You're not to possess any alcohol or illegal drugs.
I'm in the UK.
And you're not to have any contact whatsoever with the alleged victims, their residence, or their workplace, or the incident location. And sir, no contact means no contact, and it starts right now. And it means no contact on your own, nothing through a third party, no social media, no contact means no contact. Your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing on March the 18th at 1:30 in the afternoon. If you bond out of custody between now and then, and if you're released on your probation matter, you need to make that court date or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
So yes, Bob.
Yeah.
All right, that's all for this morning, sir. You're excused.
Up next on The Price is Wrong. Man, how dare this was over here on streaming himself with a heater, with a baby. Come on now. Rookie mistake. What's up with these people committing crimes and they got pew-pews on them? What up, Stephen A? Welcome. Let me see. Look at me, Mom. I got a GUN. 30K for live streaming a pew-pew. Hopefully it was worth it, dummy. What up, buddy? That's what I'm talking about right here. This is where the action's at right here, Pima County. And I'm glad they don't have that slow judge. Man, that fool was slow as molasses. Just last night I was falling asleep. Couldn't take too much of him. Crazy we live. Hey, it is. Hey, you know what? What I'm glad is that back in my days when I was growing up, when we were doing dumb stuff.
Hello, sir. Can I get your name?
We weren't live streaming it.
Miguel Fragoso.
All right, sir. We're seeing you this morning for an initial appearance on some new felony charges. You've been charged with 1 count each of aggravated robbery, armed robbery, and auto theft. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the legal advocate's office to represent you. Now, I've read everything submitted to me, so I know a little bit about the case, and it looks like the state is asking for a $50,000 bond with pretrial services. Mr. Poston, did you wish to be heard any further?
Yes, Your Honor. This individual is also part of the jump out crew that lured an unwitting victim to a location, held him at gunpoint, shot at him, and then carjacked him. This individual is just shy of 17 and apparently has no difficulty committing these sorts of crimes or obtaining weapons. The state does not believe any parent placement would be appropriate, and therefore, because clearly mom or dad can't handle him at this point, $50,000.
Oh,
Ms. Johnson, did you wish to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor, I would ask that you release Miguel to pretrial services supervision. As Mr. Poston noted, he is a juvenile. He's never been arrested for a felony or referred for a felony in juvenile court. Given his absolute lack of criminal history and his age, we would ask to give him an opportunity for the trial.
Hell no.
All right, sir. After having considered everything, I am going to order that you be held on a $30,000 cash or secured bond. You will be supervised by pretrial services if you post that, and you'll need to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions they give you. You are not to possess any firearms or weapons. You're not to consume or possess any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to have any contact with any alleged victims, their residences, or their workplaces, and you're not to return to the incident location. Your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing on March 17th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Now, sir, if you bond out of custody between now and then, you need to make sure you make that court date or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Hey, with that haircut.
Yeah. All right, sir.
Yes.
That's all for this morning. You're excused.
Hey, with that haircut, I would never thought he would have carjacked somebody. Man, but times are weird out there right now, and I'm not sure why he's on the green. Maybe he's a trustee. I'm not sure, but man, hey, that hair right there, that's definitely the Stu haircut right there. He's definitely a Stewart. But look, man, hey, it's dangerous. Hey, you can't judge a book by its cover. You just never know. So I definitely proceed with caution out there, my people. Let me see, because he was a juvenile.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's your attorney's phone number. Okay.
Thank you.
Look at that. Probably had a little purse too. You know those little purses they be throwing around across their chest. The what do you call it? A fanny pack, if you will. He's under 18, probably, right? Bow cut, deceived us. Hell yeah, man. I wouldn't think twice looking at him in the street, but shit. Looking at this now, I'll keep my eyes open because you never know. One of these fools will pop out with a strap out of their fanny pack, if you will. They trust him when he approached them. Yup. Manny pack. Oh, that's a good one, Steven. You see, greens does not look good on him. Nope. It's ugly. And it's not like a lime green. It's no bueno. Let me see. He's probably in a green because he's a minor. Oh, maybe. Maybe, Amber. You might be onto something. The other dude, hey, you know, wasn't the other dude before him? He was in green too, right? The one that was live streaming himself with a pew. Right? Yup. Maybe you might be on. I think you might have figured this out, Amber. You got this. Anyhow, hey, if you haven't done so, please do so. Hit that follow button. It's free 99. Hey, what's up? We're on the smaller channel. We're at 17K. What's up? Let's get to the 20K so we could get to the FYP, if you will. Damn, what is it? Minor Saturdays or what? Underage Saturdays? Yes. Same outfit. All right. So if he's underage, he looks young too. Damn, these kids are definitely wilding. Green Day. Another minor. Somebody called Drake, if you will, because he's a A minor lover. Let me see. Girl from AZ. They actually in yellow. It's people under. That's yellow? Actually looks green to me.
All right, sir. Can I get your name?
It's March 2.
Safe one. Do we have slow-mos?
Right, sir, we're seeing you this morning for an initial appearance on some new felony charges. You've been charged with aggravated robbery, armed robbery, minor in a possession of a firearm, auto theft, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and discharging a firearm within city limits. Sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing Eric Manch to represent you. You will get paperwork from the hearing this morning that has his contact number so you can get a hold of him. Now, I've read everything presented to me, and so I know a little bit about the case. It looks like the county attorney's office is recommending a $50,000 bond with pretrial services. Mr. Poston, did you wish to be heard?
Your Honor, this is another member of the jump out crew, the carjacking crew that lured an unwitting victim to a location, shot at him or shot him, and then stole his vehicle after also assaulting him. $50,000.
Ms. Johnson, did you wish to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor, we would ask that you release Mr. Lomas to pretrial services supervision. He is a juvenile. He's never been arrested for a felony or referred for a felony in juvenile court before. Given his absolute lack of criminal history and his age, we would ask you give him an opportunity with pretrial.
Ay. Hey, that's wild. Hey, so the reason I think they got him in adult court.
All right, sir, I am going to order that you be held on a $30,000 cash or secured bond. You will be supervised by pretrial services if you post that, and you'll need to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions they give you. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to possess any firearms or weapons. I'm further going to order that you have no contact with the alleged victim, their residence, or their workplace, and you're not to return to the incident location. Now, sir, I'm also going to impose a condition that you not have any contact with any of the co-defendants in this matter except for joint court appearances, and that includes Daniel Caballero Pacheco and Miguel Fragoso, and I believe there's one additional co-defendant as well. Counsel for defense and counsel for the state. I am also going to amend the release condition orders that I issued on the two other co-defendants to include that same no contact provision.
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good, Your Honor.
So your next court date, sir, is going to be a preliminary hearing, and that's going to be on March 17th at 1:30 in the afternoon. If you bond out of custody between now and then, you need to make sure that you make that court appearance. If you don't, a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all for this morning. You're excused.
So the reason that I think he's in adult court is because the type of crime he committed, and I'm guessing in Arizona, and this is just a guess on my part. I'm not from Arizona, so on certain type of crimes, they probably make it a lot easier to streamline them directly over to or bound them over to adult court. So if anybody's from Arizona and they want to go ahead and shed some light on that, would highly appreciate that. Like I said, that was just a guess on my part. Let me see. They can try them as adults at 17. Okay, writes Hope Marie. Gracias for that. Definitely adult type crimes. Yeah. Chicali.
Jail, if I may.
They are charging him as adult.
Yes.
Defendant Martinez Augustine is unavailable.
All right, we'll go ahead and bump him to this evening.
Definitely wilding out there in Pima County, man. Not only do you have to worry about the DUIs. Now you gotta worry about the juveniles carjacking. You gotta worry about the jump out crew, if you will. Hey, public announcement: if you're in Pima County, proceed with extreme caution, especially when walking to your car and from your car, because the jump out boys or the jump out crew might get you. Be like, break yourself, homeboy. You want to roll with the big dogs?
Hello, Judge.
Hello, can I get your name?
Sheena Baca.
All right, ma'am. Let me just make sure I've got your right file here.
Okay.
All right, ma'am. We're seeing you this morning. It looks like you have a few different cases and a few pending against you. It looks like you have a new domestic violence case, and then you've also got some warrants. And it looks like these are all out of Pima County Justice Court. So we're going to start with the new case first. Now, ma'am, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm going to appoint John Illis to represent you. It sounds like he may already be the attorney on some of your other cases. Does that name sound familiar?
It might be.
Okay.
Like in the past, you mean?
Yeah. So what we're going to do is you're going to get paperwork from all your cases this morning, and it'll have his name on and number on it. I'm just reviewing something here real quick.
Drop one, flush one.
Now, in your new case, you were charged with misdemeanor offenses of disorderly conduct, assault, criminal damage, as well as interference with judicial proceedings. Those are all alleged to be domestic violence offenses.
I'm telling you,
you have the right to remain silent, as I mentioned before. Now, ma'am, what I'm going to do in this case, because it looks like you've got a few different warrants in 3 other justice court cases. In one of them, it looks like a warrant was issued back in February, or actually the warrants in the other 3 cases were all issued in February, but the cases come from 2024. In one of them, you were charged with domestic violence, criminal damage, and disorderly conduct. In another, you were charged with multiple DV offenses, including interference with judicial proceedings, criminal trespass, criminal damage, and disorderly conduct. There was also a drug paraphernalia charge. And then in the other case, it looks like you had another paraphernalia charge, and then assault, disorderly conduct, and criminal damage. And those 3 were also domestic violence offenses. Now, ma'am, what I'm going to do, because you have so many warrants and so many cases, I am going to order that you be held on a $500 cash or secured bond in all of your matters.
Ostrich.
Oh my gosh.
You are not.
How can I get this fixed? Like, can you fix or amend this? Even the officer was requesting of that, because it is clear that it has to do with, like, we have a living relationship in my life, and then there we have this other lady who just like is intrusive and doesn't even have anything to do with it of being to say she could be my girlfriend or his boy or his. Right. And like, how can it be fixed? Because we really don't fight. It's her.
Ma'am, here's what I'm going to order. I'm going to give you a pretty short set court date. You're going to have court on Monday, and you're going to see the judge who's assigned to your cases. It looks like your cases are assigned to Judge Foster, so you'll be seen over by a judge over at Justice Court. Your court date is going to be March the 10th, and that will be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. As conditions of your release, I'm going to order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, that you not commit any acts of domestic violence, and that you not possess any firearms or weapons. I'm also going to order that you not have any contact for right now with the alleged victims, their residences, or their workplaces. My recommendation to you is to go ahead and contact your attorney, John Illis, to talk about your case. Don't talk about your case with anybody else. And then bring up your concerns with him so that you guys can address it with the court on the 10th.
Yeah, because it sounds like I'm problematic, That's like, how am I supposed to live like that?
And I understand your frustration, ma'am, but that's my order for today. So we're done here. You're excused.
Unicorn writes.
So then you're saying Monday? I can go home Monday or something?
You have a court date on Monday, ma'am, and then the judge will go ahead and look at your release conditions, and you can bring up your concerns with that judge then. But for right now, you're being held.
Somebody give her a comb. She needs a comb. Don't they give her fish kits over there? Up next, what do you guys think this lovely young lady did? Wild guesses, please. Iowa here is, let me see. Iowa here is, are you
Good morning,
the
ma'am. Give me
problem?
1
You're
second to just
the
finish up some paperwork real quick.
Hey, take your time, Your Honor. Hey, and if you haven't done so, please do so. Hey, thank you for helping me get to the 20,000 tabs. Highly appreciate that. Show! Oh, snap. We're at the FYP. That's what I'm talking about. Hopefully, we're able to bring in some other people. And if you haven't done so, please do so. Sharing is caring. Share the stream with everybody and anybody, especially with your loved ones.
Nicole Figueroa.
Nicole. Let's see what Nicole Figueroa did. What's she?
All right, Ms. Figueroa, we're seeing you this morning on some misdemeanor cases. It looks like you have a case pending in Sarita Municipal Court. You've got a couple of cases there, actually. You have another case in Pima County Justice Court, and then you have another case in Tucson City Court as well. So we're going to go ahead and talk about each of them just kind of in order here. Now, ma'am, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, however, not necessarily at court expense. Now, you do have the right to be present for any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, then a warrant will issue for your arrest, and those hearings can move forward without you. Now, if you are convicted and you cannot be sentenced within 90 days of your conviction because of your failures to appear, then you could also lose your right to a direct appeal. So starting with, let's see here. We'll start with your Sarita court case. And in that matter, you were originally charged with possession of drug paraphernalia. The case is from, looks like it's from 2017. And a warrant was issued for your arrest earlier this year. So, ma'am, in that case, what I'm going to order is that you be held on a $500 cash or secured bond. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to commit any acts of domestic violence, and you're not to possess any firearms or weapons. Your next court date for your Miranda case will be March the 11th, and that will be at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
For the Miranda case?
Or sorry, not Miranda. Thank you for that. Sarita Municipal Court. Now, if you are still in custody, then the jail will take care of making sure that you're brought to that court hearing, and it'll be a video court hearing, kind of like what we're having now.
When did you say it was? Sorry.
March the 11th at 3 in the afternoon.
Chicali said gonna bond her out. That's right.
I'm also going to appoint you an attorney in that matter, and your attorney is going to be Janet Altschuler. And the paperwork you get from the hearing this morning will have her contact information on it, so you can get a hold of her.
3 p.m. court time. Crazy.
Going to change that. We're going to appoint Gary Grinkowicz to represent you.
Hey, what up, Stephen? Welcome to You Have a Collect Call From.
Now, in your Justice Court case, it looks like that case stems from 2022, and you were initially charged with shoplifting and then a failure to appear. And it looks like a warrant was issued for your arrest back in December of 2023. So in that case as well, ma'am, I'm going to order that you be held on a $500 cash or secured bond. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to have any contact with the alleged victim, which would be the business in this case. You're not to return to the incident location. I'm going to appoint Jill Gukin to represent you in that matter. And your next court date is going to be March 10th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So that'll be Monday, I believe.
Hey, she had a pretty good run from that case in 2017.
You also have a city court matter. And in that case, it looks like you were initially charged with possession of drug paraphernalia. And it looks like a warrant was issued for your arrest back in December of 2023.
Ostrich.
Now, what I'm going to do is, because there's also a failure to appear charge that you may not have been arraigned on, I am going to enter not guilties on your behalf for any new charges.
Hey, just buy her some socks, Chicali. Just
I'm
send
going
her a
to
pair of
appoint the
socks.
City Public Defender's Office to represent you, and I'm going to order that you be held on a $250 cash or secured bond. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. And your next court date for your city court matter, I'm going to give you 2. If you are still in custody, you're going to have a video review hearing. and that will be on March the 18th at 1:45 in the afternoon. If you bond out of custody, your next court date is going to be April 9th, 2025 at 9:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Now, ma'am, I know I gave you a bunch of different court dates. You're going to get paperwork for all of your separate court appearances, and I know you're also being held on separate felony matters. So, ma'am, if you bond out of custody, you need to make sure you make all of your court dates or you're going to have more warrants. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All right, that's all for this morning. You're excused.
Gotta stretch a little bit.
Miller?
Is the stream lagging? Is that what you're trying to tell me, Gino's den? She's trouble. Yup. If you like trouble, then there it is there.
Good morning. Can I get your name?
Ron Miller. Or Ronald Lee Miller.
Let's see what
Okay,
Gramps
sir.
did.
So we're seeing you this morning on some new misdemeanor charges. It looks like you've been charged with domestic violence assault, and this case is assigned to Pima County Justice Court. It sounds like we may also have the alleged victim on the line. Is Rhonda Miller online?
Yes.
That's my wife.
Yes.
Okay, Miss Miller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some preliminary things real quick with Mr. Miller.
Do you
and
think
then
she
I'm
wants
gonna
him back?
I'm going to have some questions for you here in a second.
Do you think she wants
Now,
to
what
drop
I'm
the
gonna
charges?
Tell both of you is that we're not talking about the facts of what happened today. Today we're just talking about release conditions. I don't want, Mr. Miller, I don't want you to say anything that could wind up hurting your case. Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. As I said, anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, however, not necessarily at court expense. Now, Ms. Miller, as I mentioned, I'm looking at release conditions, and since you are the alleged victim, you do have a right to
Eleanor.
have input as to that. Is there anything you would like me to consider
be
before I
nice.
make my decision?
I just want him home.
There, you guys were right.
He just needs to be home.
Okay, and so
I am not afraid. He's not a threat.
Yeah, so he's choking you out, and you're done on
Okay,
the
so
floor
it sounds
unconscious.
like you would be okay with him both coming home and with having contact with him. Am I understanding that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, and thank you for calling in this morning. So, Mr. Miller, I'm going to release you on your promise to appear, but you're going to have to make a court date that I give you later this month. Now, as far as conditions of your release, you're not to commit any acts of domestic violence. I'm going to order that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm also going to order that you not possess any firearms or weapons. Your next court date is going to be a DV arraignment hearing, and that will be on March the 18th at 10:30 in the morning at Pima County Justice Court. You'll get paperwork with all of this information. Now, sir, if you do not make that court appearance, a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right, that's all for this morning. Thank you, Mrs. Miller, for calling in, and Mr. Miller, you're excused.
Eleanor Road. But I love him.
Okay,
Very nice.
How do I go get him?
That's something that would be worked out with the jail, ma'am. So my advice to you would be to call the jail to see how that works.
And
You're
let
welcome.
me see. Green Eyes writes, "It was my fault, not his.
Thank you,
I
Your
love
Honor.
him."
Good
Paco
morning, ma'am.
Taco
Can I
writes,
get your name?
Stephanie Cristorio.
All right, Ms. Rios, we're seeing you this morning on a few different cases.
"Is this a vato?"
It looks like you have a case that's pending with Pima County Justice Court, or sorry, you've got 3 cases pending with Pima County Justice Court. One of them is a new case involving, you have a case from 2024
Yep, he did.
in which you were originally charged with domestic violence, criminal damage, and then failed to appear for court. And then you have another case also from 2024 where you were charged with DV, criminal damage, interference with judicial proceedings, and disorderly conduct. Now, ma'am, in all of your cases, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense.
Hey, thank
Now,
you,
I
Stephen.
believe it looks like you're currently being held on a Superior Court matter. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
All right. So what we do today is not going to affect your hold in that other case. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to order that you be held on a $250 cash or secured bond. And that's, since you're already in custody, that way you start earning some time credit. Now, I'm going to appoint Jill Gookin to represent you in your cases. I'm going to order that you not, let's see here, that you not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, that you not commit any acts of domestic violence, that you not have any contact with any alleged victims, and that you not go to any of the alleged incident locations. Your next court date is going to be March the 10th, 2025, and that will be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Isn't that
And that will be at Pima County Justice Court. If you're still in custody, then the jail will take care of making sure you're able to make that court appearance.
Yes.
Now, if you bond out of custody and if you're released on your felony matter between now and the 10th, you need to make that court appearance or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all for this morning, ma'am. You're excused.
What up, Kong?
Yes.
Up next on The Price is Wrong. Let's see who's coming in. Now, what do you guys think this individual is going to be here for? DV, shoplifting,
Hello, sir. Give me one moment to finish up some paperwork here.
trafficking, pills? Ma'am, hey, I'm confused as you, okay? You know what I'm saying? Maybe some rugs. Maybe DUI. Or maybe a drive-by. You just never know around here. Look at the other girl she was busting caps the other day. She was on a good one.
All right, sir. Can I get your name?
Joseph Stevens.
He was selling himself. Damn.
All right, Mr. Stevens, we're seeing you for a warrant out of Marana City Court.
Yeah, and I emailed the judge and
well, before you
emailed the judge.
Hold on a second, sir. Before you say anything, I do want to let you know that you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. The reason I say that is that if I cut you off, it's not because I'm being rude. It's because I don't want you to say something that can hurt your case. Okay. So
yes.
Questions or things like that, that's probably something you're going to need to bring up with the Marana court judge, not with me. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. Now, it looks like you are currently being held on separate felony charges. So what we do today is not going to affect what happens in that other case. So what I'm going to do is I am going to appoint Janet Altschuler to represent you in this matter. It looks like originally you were charged with possession of drug paraphernalia, resisting arrest, shoplifting, and then there was a failure to appear.
Damn, he had a combo.
It looks like a warrant was issued not too long ago. It looks like it was February the 6th of 2025.
Yeah, it was
I believe I was arrested on that, and that's when I've been starting to go to court. That's why I don't understand how this thing is.
Sarah wrote full bingo card.
Triple threat. I still won't.
All right, sir. Well, what I'm going to do is I am going to, as I mentioned, I'm appointing Janet Altschuler to represent you. My recommendation to you is to go ahead and give her a call so you can figure out what's going on with Marana City Court. Because you're in custody on your felony matter, I am going to order that you be held on a $200 cash or secured bond in this case, so you start getting some time credit. Your next court date in Marana is going to be March 10th, and that will be at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. If you are still in custody, the jail will take care of making sure you make that court appearance. Now, if you are released on your felony matter and if you bond out of custody on this case, you need to make sure you make your court dates or warrants will issue. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, that's all for this morning, sir. You're excused.
What's the felony matter?
Green Eyed
What is the felony matter, man?
Just one moment, sir.
Green Eyed Bandit Road. I'll take the combo.
Failure to appear, and I also want to stop.
I'll take a combo with.
Sorry, I confirmed it with jail records, Your Honor. If I could just have 1 moment to explain it to him.
That's fine.
Green Knight Road. I'll take the combo with large pretend confusion. I like that one right there, man. You guys got me rolling over here. That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. You guys make the chat. That's what I'm talking about. This is the type of chat I like. I don't like that type of chat when people come in here. Is this live?
All right, that's it for this morning. You're excused.
Thank you.
Now, Weston, I'm gonna take a nap. I'm short on sleep right now, so that's what I'm talking about. That's a real chat right there. Coming and asking if this is live. Is this real? Is this AI? Come on
Hello,
now.
can I get your name?
Which?
All right, sir, we're seeing you this morning for an initial appearance on a couple of different cases. It looks like you have some cases pending with Tucson City Court, and you also have a case out of Marana Municipal Court. Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. You have the right to be present for any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, then a warrant will issue for your arrest, and those hearings can happen without you. Now, if you are convicted and you cannot be sentenced within 90 days of your conviction because of your failure to appear, you could also lose your right to a direct appeal. Now, in your Marana court case, you were initially charged with possession of drug paraphernalia, and then it looks like a failure to appear charge was added, and a warrant was issued back in September of 2024.
What I plan on doing is I'm going in rehab as soon as I leave here, and I'm going to have them help me get my warrants taken care of. And I'm going straight there once I leave here.
Hey, Willie Nelson, come on. We know you're not going to go to rehab.
That's how I'm going to take care of this. That's my plan.
You're not going to take care of nothing.
To help me pay care of these warrants.
You go get a clavo.
I'm gonna go straight into rehab, and I'm gonna go.
You go straight to the dope, man.
Help me take care of these warrants.
He's gonna go straight to the
sir,
connecta.
well, I do think that is an excellent plan. I do not have confidence, given the number of warrants and open cases, that that you will make your court appearances. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to order that you be held on a $250 cash or secured bond in your Marana case. You are not.
Ma'am, I don't have no family. I have no family to respond, you know?
Let me finish, sir. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and your next court date in your Marana case is going to be March the 10th at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, in your city court, and one second, I'm also going to appoint
Hey, look.
An attorney to represent you.
If I was a betting man, I'm gonna put it on that he's not gonna go to rehab. With all due respect, he's hurting right now. He's gonna go straight to the connecta.
I'm going to appoint Janet Altschuler
to get well
to represent you in your Marana case.
Let's just keep it real. We're all adults here. No need to live in fantasy world. It's not all unicorns and,
now, in
and,
your
and puffy
city
clouds.
Court matters.
Hey, Ms. Cookie Monster, thank you for the follow. Highly appreciated. Oh, he's gonna be going through it right now. He's gonna be detoxing for 35 days straight, kicking that habit, throwing up and farting and.
All right. So in your city court matters, I'm going to appoint the city public defender's office to represent you. Now, it looks like you may not have been arraigned on some of these charges, so I am going to enter not guilties on your behalf.
What do you mean, poor guy? He did it to himself. He has nobody to blame but himself. Nobody forced him to shoot that stuff into his veins. Come on now. At some point, you gotta be responsible for your own actions.
I'm going to give you two separate court dates. You're going to have a video review hearing set for March 18th, 2025. And that will be at 1:45 in the afternoon. If you are still in custody, then the jail will take care of making sure you're brought for that hearing.
He's devastated
now,
by
if you bond out of custody, your court date is going to be April the 8th, 2025, and that will be at 9 o'clock in the morning at Tucson City Court. I am going to order that you also be held on a $250 cash or secured bond on this case. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. And my apologies, I did not read the charges that are included in your various cases. You were charged in city court with criminal trespass in the 3rd degree, possession of drug paraphernalia, looks like multiple counts of both of those, and public nuisance, as well as multiple failures to appear.
Yep. There it is there.
You are not, as further conditions of release, you are not to return to any of the listed incident locations, and you're not to have any contact with any alleged victims. Now, sir, if you bond out of custody, you need to make your court appearances or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
I'm going to say he's in a wild dog before this is over.
All right, sir, you're excused.
The proof is in the pudding. The proof is... Oh, I saw his butt crack. Ooh, yeah. No bueno. All right. Up
Hello, sir.
up
Can I
next,
get your name?
Mr. Clean.
Aubrey Child.
All right, sir. We're seeing you this morning on some matters out of Tucson City Court. It looks like you have some cases pending where you've been charged with criminal trespass in the 3rd degree, obstruction or refusal, as well as failures to appear. And it looks like it's 2 separate cases, both from 2024. Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. You have the right to be present for any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, then a warrant will issue for your arrest, and those hearings can happen without you. Now, if you are convicted and you cannot be sentenced within 90 days because of your failure to appear, then you could also lose your right to a direct appeal. Now, sir, I'm going to enter not guilties on your behalf for all of the alleged charges.
Okay.
He's like, whatever. That's what I'm talking about. Take it in the chin. You know what you did. There's no point in crying and begging, talking about you're going to go to the
Now, sir, I am going to release you from custody today, and your next court date is going to be April the 8th at 9:30 in the morning. That will be at Tucson City Court, and that will be with Judge Mayhew. Now, sir,
Does that happen to fall on a Friday?
I don't know, sir, but if it's a date that you can't make, you need to contact Tucson City Court to see if they will change it.
Okay.
As conditions of release, you are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you're not to return to the alleged incident locations. Now, sir, if you fail to appear for that court date on April the 8th, a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
That's all for this morning. You're excused.
All right, thank
next. Up next on The Price is Wrong.
Hello?
Let's see. Let's see what it is. Put it on the screen.
Hello, can I get your name?
Carlos Enrique McCollum.
All right, sir, give me 1 second.
Man, this was looking like a
Yes, ma'am.
leprechaun or Amish leprechaun, if you will. Damn it, eh? Kind of looks like he's morphing into like kind of an ape or Abe Lincoln. He's going for the Abe Lincoln look. The possibilities are endless here.
All right, sir. So we're seeing you this morning because you have some new charges out of Tucson City Court involving allegations of theft or control, possession of drug paraphernalia, and it looks like there's also a failure to appear from a case from 2021. Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. You have the right to be present for all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, a warrant will issue for your arrest, and those hearings can happen without you. Now, if you are convicted and you cannot be sentenced within 90 days because of your failure to appear, then you could also lose your right to a direct appeal. Now, sir, I'm going to enter not guilties on your behalf for any charges that you have not already been arraigned on.
Sasquatch. Is he frozen there? It looks like, he looks like Encino Man. He's prehistoric. Looking like a Neanderthal. Oh, man. Walking dead. A caveman. Chicka, chicka, yeah. This is from the commercial.
All right, sir.
That
Now,
came
given the age of the warrant in your older
caveman.
case, I am going to order that you be held on the $250 bond that's listed in the warrant that will be cash or secured. As conditions of your release, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, not to have any contact with any alleged victims, and you're not to return to the incident location. I'm going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you, and you'll get paperwork that has their contact information. Your next court date is going to review hearing on March the 18th, 2025 at 1:45 in the afternoon. If you're still in custody, the jail will take care of making sure you make that court hearing. If you bond out, your next court date is going to be April the 9th, 2025, and that will be at 9:30 in the morning. Now, sir, if you are released from custody, you need to make your court appearances. If you don't, a warrant will issue. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all for this morning, sir. You're excused.
Thank you.
Next. And Abe Lincoln is out.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see what this.
Hello, can I get your name?
Kevin.
All right, sir. We are seeing you this morning for a case out of Tucson City Court, where it looks like you were charged with domestic violence assault, resisting arrest, interference with judicial proceedings, and disorderly conduct. And some of those, sir, are alleged to be domestic violence offenses, basically everything except the resisting arrest. Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. You have the right to be present for any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, then a warrant will issue for your arrest, and those hearings can happen without you. Now, if you are convicted and you cannot be sentenced within 90 days because of your failure to appear, then you could also lose your right to a direct appeal. Sir, it looks like you're currently also in custody on a juvenile probation hold, so whatever we do today is not going to affect your release conditions in that other case. So what I'm going to...
He was probably on juvenile probation, but now he's over the age of 18, so he's an adult.
Do in this case, sir, since you have that hold, I am going to hold you on a $250 cash or secured bond. I am going to appoint the city public defender's office to represent you. Since you're in custody on the probation matter, I want to make sure you're getting some time credit. I am going to enter not guilties on your behalf for these new charges. Your next, as conditions of release, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to possess any firearms or weapons, and you're not to have any contact with any listed victims, their residences, or their workplaces. I'm going to give you 2 court dates. You will have a video review hearing on March the 18th at 1:45 in the afternoon. If you bond out of custody, your court date is going to be April the 8th, 2025, and that will be at 2:30 in the afternoon. And these are going to be at Tucson City Court in front of Judge Mayhew. Now, sir, if you bond out of custody, you need to make sure you make your court dates. If you fail to show, then a warrant will issue. Do you understand?
Understand.
All right, that's all for this morning, sir. You're excused.
Matches. Hey, that's all right. Yeah, on there?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't quite catch what you said about like my release date, like, and my court date. Did you say my court date too? It was the 18th, you said?
Yes, so you've got 2 court dates and you'll get paperwork with this information. If you are still in custody, then the jail will bring you for a video review hearing on March the 18th. If you bond out of custody, then your court date will be April the 8th, and that will be at 2:30 in the afternoon. Like I said, this is all on the paperwork you're going to get from us.
There's
All right, all right. I had to step away. My other computer was tripping, so I had to fix the audio. Hey, brothers, no, yeah, I just fixed it right now. Thank you. Hey, what's up, Cha-Cha? That's why I stepped away, okay? Because I got a notification on my screen that that something had gone wrong with the audio, so it should be back on. What's up? What happened? Where's everybody at? Where's everybody at? Like everybody's gone. Is it over? What's up? Hey, and if you haven't done so, please do so. If you're new here, hit that follow button. It's free 99. Doesn't cost you a thing. We're worried about you. Yeah, I had to jump on the other computer really quick to get the audio going. All right, up next. Let's see.
Hello,
let's
sir.
see.
Can I get your name?
Woodrow Jones.
They just tasered
All
the
right,
last
sir. We're
guy.
seeing you this morning for an initial
wish they
appearance
would.
on some new felony charges. Need you to pay attention. You've been charged with 1 count of sale of a narcotic drug as well as possession of drug paraphernalia. Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the legal defender's office to represent you. I've read everything presented to me, so I know a little bit about the case. And it looks like the state is asking for a $7,500 bond with pretrial services. It also looks like you're currently in custody on a probation hold. Mr. Poston, did you wish to be heard any further?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Johnson?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay, so Your Honor, no, Your Honor, Your Honor, we would ask that you impose a nominal bond for time credit. Given that he does have the probation hold, he will go to court next week on the probation hold to determine release conditions in that case.
All right, sir, I'm going to order that you be held on a...
And Your Honor, Mr. Jones would like to address the court.
All right, sir, you are welcome to address the court. However, I need to caution you. Don't talk about the facts of the case. I don't want you to say something that could wind up hurting either your probation matter or your new felony charges. So if I cut you off, that's why. All right. Did you have a question?
My family is in a little bit of danger due to, I don't know, some of the
danger
circumstances that deal with the case, not directly with the case, but with the case.
What kind of danger?
I would ask to see if I could be able to lift my probation hold over, to be able to contact my PO, or...
And Your Honor, explain to Mr. Jones that this court is not able to lift the probation hold, and he'll have to go to Superior Court to determine release conditions in that case, likely on a date next week.
All right, sir. So Ms. Johnson is correct. I don't have the power to address your probation case today. That's with a Superior Court judge, and that's something that you'll have to address with that judge next week. Now, what I am going to do is I am going to set this matter for a preliminary hearing. It's probably going to be after your probation matter, but your preliminary hearing is going to be set for March the 18th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Now, as conditions of your release, as I mentioned, I'm holding you on the $2,500 cash or secured bond. You will be supervised by pretrial services if you post that, and you'll have to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions they give you. You're not to possess or consume any firearms. Possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're also not to possess any firearms or weapons. Now, if you are released from custody, sir, you need to make sure you make court appearances. If you don't, a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. So even if I post this bond, I can't go nowhere till next week?
Correct. Not until the other judge hears that case.
All right.
All right, that's all for this morning, sir. You're excused.
Is your attorney's phone number so you can give them a call on Monday?
All right, am I able to come to my PO at all this weekend?
You know their number if they're working on weekend shows. They cannot lift the probation. Judge.
PO to judge has to lift it. All right. What is he doing?
That's right, America Free. You have to be careful with your actions because it can hurt your family, not just yourself. This is why people need to learn action cause problems. Straight up. Bro, you're not getting out until court date. Laughing out loud from K. If they're in danger, call 911. The only problem with that is that 911 normally shows up too late. But that's some real talk right there. When you do stuff, then you might be putting the ones around you in danger. You know, some people don't care if it's you they get, your family or whatever. So think about that twice. He wants out. For every action, there's a reaction. From Tony 77048. Green Eyes right. If he gets out, he's gonna be reckless practing his family.
Morning.
That's crazy. Yo, what up, Southside? BK99. Yo. And let's see what this lady did. Let's see what this abuelita did.
Lisa Helen Austin.
All right, ma'am, we're seeing you this morning for an initial appearance on some new felony charges. You've been charged with aggravated driving or actual physical control while under the influence. And it looks like that is based on a lack of an ignition interlock device. My apologies, I'm trying to decipher this handwriting. Now, ma'am, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. I've read the interim complaint, the pretrial services workup, as well as the state's recommendation. The state is asking for a $25,000 bond with pretrial. Mr. Poston, did you wish to be heard any further?
Yes, Your Honor. It looks like this person picked up a DUI on 3/7, then 2 days prior on 3/5. She's got several DUIs from Minnesota, and she's on probation from another DUI in Minnesota. This person cannot seem to not drive whilst impaired. 25,000. She's a danger to the community.
Ms. Johnson, did you wish to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor, we would ask that you give Ms. Austin an opportunity on pretrial services release. Pretrial would be able to require that she drug and alcohol test regularly, which can include breathalyzers multiple times a week at the office downtown. Given pretrial's ability to monitor her, we would ask that you give her an opportunity with pretrial.
All right, ma'am, I am going to order that you be held on a $7,500 bond just based on your DUI history. I am concerned not only for the public, but I'm also concerned that you will harm yourself if you get into an accident with another individual as well. As conditions of your release, you will be monitored by pretrial services, and you'll have to comply with any treatment or other directions they give you. You're not to drive without a valid license. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you're not to possess any firearms or weapons. If I didn't mention it before, the public defender's office is appointed to represent you. Your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing, and that will be March 18th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Now, ma'am, if you bond out of custody, you need to make that court appearance. If you don't, then a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Thank you, Sarah. Gracias.
Yes.
All right, that's all for this morning, ma'am. You're excused.
Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one.
DJ Khaled put it the best. Another one. There we go. Get out of my sight, you old whippersnapper. Let me see right here. Martin writes, your actions have consequences. Make it 10 million. Don't let her out. Let's see what this guy's here for.
Hello, sir. Can I get your name?
Anthony Clark.
All right, sir, we're seeing you this morning on a few different cases. It looks like you have approximately 13 cases out of 2 states in court in which failures to appear and warrants were issued. You also have some new felony charges. And in the felony case, you've been charged with possession of a dangerous drug, possession of a narcotic drug, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney in all of your matters. Now, in your felony case, I'm going to appoint the public defender's office, and we'll talk about your city court cases here in a second. Now, you also have the right to be present for any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, then a warrant will issue for your arrest, and those hearings can happen without you. Now, if you are convicted and you cannot be sentenced within 90 days because of your failure to appear, you could also lose your right to a direct appeal. Now, in your felony matter, I have read everything, so I know a little bit about the case. The state is asking for a $7,500 bond with pretrial services. Mr. Poston, did you wish to be heard any further?
No, other than to say, based on the circumstances, he is not STEPS eligible.
Understood. Ms. Jones, did you wish to be heard?
John, sorry. We would ask that you release Mr. Clark to pretrial services supervision. I understand that he's not eligible for steps, but he has no prior felony arrests or convictions of any kind. So even if he were to be indicted and go to trial and lose on this case, he's probation available. He won't be able to receive drug treatment in the jail. So given that, we would ask that you give him an opportunity on release.
Give him an opportunity.
All right, sir.
for
Based on the
release.
number of failures to appear that you have in your city court matters, I'm going to be holding you on a bond. I am going to order you be held on a $7,500 cash or secured bond. You will be supervised by pretrial services if you post that. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to possess any firearms or weapons, and you will have to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions pretrial services gives you. Your next court date in this case is going to be March the 18th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That will be for a preliminary hearing. Now, in your city court matter.
Hey, this is a smart judge. She knows what she's doing because they let this fool go 13 other times.
As I mentioned, you
What a
have a
shame.
number of different cases, and it looks like they stem back to 2023.
America free.
Most of them are in 2024, and then it looks like you have one from 2025. Between all of the cases, you have been charged with applying graffiti to property, theft or
he's a
control,
vandal.
interference with judicial proceedings, multiple counts of possession of drug paraphernalia, removal of a shopping cart, criminal trespass in the third degree, theft, failures to appear, and urination in public. So, sir, but in
Urination
all of
in
these
public?
cases, I am going to appoint the city public defender's
crossed the
office to
line.
represent you. Now, for any charges that you have not already been arraigned on, I am going to enter not guilties on your behalf.
Damn, James, you're out of control with the sound effects.
I am going to order that you
Somebody
be held on a
stop me.
$1,000 cash or secured bond. As conditions of your release in your city court matters, you are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, not have any contact with any of the alleged victims, their residences or their workplaces, or the incident locations.
Ay, ay, ay.
Now, your next court date in these matters, I'm going to give you two. If you are still in custody, you will be transported for a video review hearing on March the 18th, 2025, and that will be at 1:45 in the afternoon.
James, you're out of control. This is people's lives you're playing with. Aren't you ever serious, James?
I think it was.
Not cool.
Do you want a different
Not
date for
cool,
this
my
one?
guy.
Okay. Actually, we're going to change that date since your felony case is also on the 18th. Give us one moment. 321. Okay. So it's your court date in city court is going to be 321
Got a homie
at
contempt of court.
1:45 in the afternoon. And as I mentioned, that will be a video review hearing. Now, if you are out of custody,
Bro, afternoon
then your
and day
court date
county
will
would
be
good 'cause
April
it's
the
all
8th at
felonies.
2:30 in the afternoon. And those will be with Judge Verena over at Tucson City Court. Now, sir, if you bond out of custody, you need to get these matters handled. You've got a lot of warrants outstanding, and these are not just going to go away. Do you
He'll be
understand?
back.
Yeah, I understand. I won't be able to find out and have any money.
All right, sir, that's all for this morning. You're excused.
Let's do it till then.
Your felony attorney will be out to see you early next week. They can go into more detail with the vote. Over.
James, you're out of control, James.
I'm sure.
Up next on The Price is Wrong. Let's see, what do we have coming next? Is it a young lady?
Hi, can I get your name?
Ooh, she needs a
Miriam
call.
Contreras.
Somebody get
All right,
her a
ma'am, we're
brush.
seeing you this morning for an initial appearance on some new felony charges, and it looks like you also have some Tucson City Court matters that we'll talk about in a second. Now, in your felony case, ma'am, you've been charged with possession or use of a narcotic drug, possession or use of a dangerous drug, possession of drug paraphernalia, and organized retail theft. Now, ma'am, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your felony matter. Now, we're also going to take care of your arraignment in your city court case. So we're going to go over some other rights that you have.
got it,
You do have the
Martin.
right to be present for any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, a warrant will issue for your arrest and those hearings will go forward without you. Now, if you are convicted and you cannot be sentenced within 90 days because of your failure to appear, then you could also lose your right to a direct appeal. Now, in your felony case, I've read everything presented to me, so I know a little bit about the case. Mr. Poston, I see that you're asking for a $5,000 bond with pretrial services. Did you wish to be heard any further?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Johnson?
Your Honor, we would ask that you release Ms. Contreras to pretrial services supervision. These are low-level nonviolent offenses, I think probably tied to her substance abuse issues. She has no prior felony arrests of any kind. So again, even if she goes to trial and loses, she's probation available. Given that she has never been arrested for a felony before and given the nature of these offenses, we would ask that you release her to pretrial services supervision.
All right, ma'am, I am going to release you to pretrial services on this matter. You are going to have to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions they give you. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to possess any firearms or weapons. And you're not to have any contact with any alleged victims, and you're not to return to the incident location. Your next court date in this case is going to be March 28th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That will be your preliminary hearing. Now, in your city court matters,
I don't know what to say. I'm at a loss of
you have
words
two
right now.
separate cases from 2024 where you were charged with possession of drug paraphernalia.
So for this,
And it looks like the warrant was issued.
I try to stream daily on TikTok.
Looks like there was a warrant that was issued, then a motion to quash was filed, and then you failed to appear at that hearing. And that last hearing was January 6th of 2025. Now, ma'am, since I'm releasing you to pretrial services on your felony cases, I am going to release you on your promise to appear in this case, but you need to make sure you make the court dates I give you here in a second for Tucson City Court. Now, as conditions of your release, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. And you're not to return to any of the alleged incident locations. I am going to enter not guilties on your behalf because it looks like you have not yet been arraigned.
I also whenever I don't stream on TT, I stream on YouTube.
Your next court date is going to be April the 3rd, 2025, and that will be at 9:30 in the morning. That will be blue over at Tucson City Court, and you'll get paperwork with all of this information. Now, ma'am, you need to make sure you make both of your court dates in both of these courthouses or more warrants are going to issue. Do you understand?
Send me a
That's all
message.
for this morning. You're excused.
Send me a message with your address, and I'll drop some in the mail for you today. They'll be free 99. But yeah, so I try to stream every day, whenever I don't work. But the days that I do work, I still run the streams on YouTube without the commentary, obviously, because I'm not there. But
Hello, can I get your name?
so daily, if
Or is Marcel Cooper?
All right, sir, we're seeing you for a couple of different matters this morning for an initial appearance. It looks like you have
I'll ship him
some
to the
new
UK.
felony charges involving allegations of aggravated robbery and armed robbery. And then you have a warrant out of Justice Court for a case from 2024 where you were charged with misdemeanor driving under the influence. Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and though not necessarily at court expense. Now, what I'm going to do in your felony case is I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Now, looking at the felony case, I have read the interim complaint, the pretrial services workup, as well as the state's recommendation. I see that the state is asking for a $75,000 bond with pretrial services. Mr. Poston, did you wish to be heard?
Given the characteristics of the victim and the severity and wantonness and cruelty of the allegations, state stands by the $75,000 recommendation. State believes the defendant is a risk to the community.
Ms. Johnson, did you wish to be heard?
Mr. Honor, we would ask that you give Mr. give him an opportunity on pretrial services release, alternatively impose a significantly lower bond. He does have housing available with his wife. He was able to successfully complete parole from 2022 to 2023, so I do believe he's able to comply with supervision conditions. Given that, we would ask you to give him an opportunity to pretrial.
You know what I think it is? I think
All
they
right,
just
sir,
don't have
looking at
space for
everything,
everybody.
including your history as well as the information in the interim complaint, I am going to order that you be held on a $30,000 cash or secured bond. You will be supervised by pretrial services if you are released from custody, and you'll need to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions they give you. You are not to possess any firearms or other weapons. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you have no contact with the alleged victims, their residences, or their workplaces, and you are not to return to the incident location. Your next court date will be a preliminary hearing, and that will be March 18th at 1:30 in the afternoon.
I'm sure they save space for the
Now,
most.
in your DUI
violent
case, it looks like you may have originally been represented by Doug Taylor, so we'll go ahead and reappoint him in this matter.
Thank you, Sarah.
It looks like the warrant in your DUI case was issued back on December 5th of 2024. So I am going to order that you be held on a $250 cash or secured bond on that case. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to drive without a valid license, and you're not to possess any firearms or weapons. I'm going to set your matter for a hearing on March the 10th. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That will be with Judge Ball over at Pima County Justice Court. Now, if you're still in custody, then the jail will take care of making sure you make that court appearance. However, if you bond out of custody, you were responsible for getting yourself to court for each of your hearings. If you don't, then a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that's all for this morning, sir. You're excused. Hello, can I get your name?
Francisco Cruz.
All right, sir, we're seeing you this morning for an initial appearance for some new felony charges.
Felonias?
Involving allegations of unlawful discharge of a firearm within city limits. Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. Now, I've read everything presented to me, so I know a little bit about the case. I see that the state is asking for a $2,500 bond with pretrial services. Mr. Poston, did you wish to be heard any further?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes, Your Honor, I would ask that you release him for pretrial services supervision. Pretrial services did score him as a 1. He does not have an NVCA flag. He's a 1 on the NCA scale, a 1 on the FTA scale. It doesn't appear he's ever been arrested before for a misdemeanor or a felony. He has no prior convictions of any kind. He has no prior failures to appear of any kind. Pretrial services was able to speak to his wife and confirm housing and confirm that he is employed full-time. Given his score from pretrial services, given his absolute lack of criminal history, we would ask that you release him to pretrial services.
All right, sir, I am going to order that you be released to pretrial services. You will need to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions they give you. You're not to possess any firearms or weapons, and you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to return to the incident location. And your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing on March 28th at 1:30 in the afternoon. If you fail to make that court appearance, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all for this morning, sir. You're excused.
Next! Up next on The Price is Wrong.
Michael Lee, please.
All right, sir, we're seeing you this morning for new felony charges involving an allegation of unlawful flight from a law enforcement vehicle. Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. I've read everything presented to me, so I know a little bit about the case. And the state is asking for a $7,500 bond with pretrial services. Mr. Poston, did you wish to be heard any further?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Johnson?
Dade County. I got it on
You
my.
release Mr. DeFelice to pretrial services supervision.
I got it on
Given the
YouTube
nature
right
of
now.
defense, it doesn't. I understand he is on felony probation. However, it does appear that he's been compliant now for almost a year. There's no warrants issued or no court date scheduled, which I think would imply that he allow us to assume that he's been compliant with probation. Given that, we would ask you give him an opportunity on pretrial services release. He will be supervised by both probation and pretrial if the court gives him an opportunity.
All right, sir, I am going to order that you be held on a $5,000 cash or secured bond. You will be supervised by pretrial services if you post that. I am concerned because you are on probation that this is alleged to have occurred. If you are released, you will comply with any monitoring or treatment directions pretrial services gives you. You're not to drive without a valid license. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you're not to possess any firearms or weapons. Your next court date will be March the 18th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That will be a preliminary hearing. Now, sir, if you bond out of custody, you need to make that court date. If you don't, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all for this morning, sir. You're excused.
Thank you.
His hands. Oh, he got that thing where he loses the pigment on his skin. I was about to say, why do his hands look white? 26 minutes, Maricopa.
Hello, can I get your name?
What do you think this lovely young lady did?
All right, ma'am, we're seeing you this morning for some new felony charges involving allegations of possession of a narcotic drug for sale and possession of drug paraphernalia. Now, ma'am, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you in this matter.
Thank you, Jen.
Now, I've read everything presented to me, and so I know a little bit about the case. I see that the state is asking for pretrial services and indicates that you may be eligible for steps. Mr. Poston, is that still your position?
Get that money.
It is.
Ms. Johnson, did you wish to be heard at all?
We would not object to pretrial services release. Would also waive time for the PH so that she can participate in steps.
She types. She's a loud typer. Care typing. What is she typing? What could she be typing? Hey, Danielle, thank you for the follow. Highly
All right, ma'am.
appreciate
So what
that.
the parties are telling me is that you may be eligible for a diversion program offered by Pima County Superior Court. I don't know if you're eligible for that program. The only way you'll be able to find out if you are is if you attend what we call a steps hearing or a smart court hearing. Now, that is going to be set on March the 17th at 9 o'clock in the morning. Now, if you are eligible and if you complete the program, that can have some sort of benefit to your case and your legal situation. However, again, you won't know if you qualify until you go to that. So that's a very important hearing to make. Now, I'm also going to set a preliminary hearing on April 22nd, 2025. And I'll note that the defense is waiving time for that. So, ma'am, right now you need to make sure you make both of those hearings. If you don't, a warrant would issue for your arrest. As additional conditions of your release, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to possess any firearms or weapons, and you will have to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions pretrial services gives you. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all for this morning, ma'am. You're excused.
Next, she's out of here. Damn, they've had a good run today in Pima County, and she's been keeping a good steady flow.
Hello, can I get your name?
Harper, Your Honor.
What's your first name?
Eric Harper, Your Honor.
All right, sir, we're seeing you this morning because you have a few different matters in a couple of different courthouses, sir. You've got, it looks like 4 cases out of Tucson City Court. You have 2 warrants out of Pima County Justice Court, and you have some new felony charges. So we'll start with those first. In your felony case, you've been charged with possession of a dangerous drug, possession of a narcotic drug, possession of drug paraphernalia, as well as felony shoplifting. Now, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney in your cases. though not necessarily at court expense. What I'm going to do in your felony case is I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. Now, since you've also got some city court matters, we're going to do your arraignment on those cases as well. You do have the right to be present for any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, then a warrant will issue for your arrest, and those hearings can happen without you. Now, if you are convicted and you cannot be sentenced within 90 days of your conviction, you could also lose your right to a direct appeal. Now, in your felony matter, I have read the interim complaint, the pretrial services workup, and the state's recommendation. The state is asking for a $5,000 bond with pretrial services. Mr. Poston, did you wish to be heard?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Ms. Johnson?
Your Honor, you would ask that you release Mr. Harper to pretrial services supervision. Given the nature of the offenses, I understand that he does have some prior failures to appear. However, he has absolutely no prior felony arrests. So again, even if he goes to try to release if he has probation available, any bond is going to effectively hold him without bond because he does not have the ability to pay. Given that, we would ask that you release him to pretrial services supervision.
All right, sir, I am going to order that you be held on a $5,000 cash or secured bond in your felony matter. You will be supervised by pretrial services if you post that, and you'll need to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions that they give you. As conditions of your release, you're not to possess any firearms or weapons, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, you are not to have any contact with any alleged victims or the incident locations. Your next court date in this case will be a preliminary hearing on March the 18th at 1:30 in the afternoon.
He kind of has like the James Brown hairdo going on
Now,
right
you
there.
also have two cases out of Pima County Justice Court. You have one matter from 2021 where you were charged with theft by control. And then it looks like two separate failures to appear were also issued. A warrant was issued for your arrest back in July of 2024. And then you have a 2023 case where you were charged with shoplifting, and again, also a failure to appear with a warrant that issued July 25th of 2024 as well.
I think he's sleeping.
Now, in these matters, sir, I'm going to appoint...
I don't know, unless he's playing dead possum.
All right, sir. So it looks like Janet Altschuler was previously your attorney in Justice Court, so we're going to make sure that she's reappointed in these matters as well. You'll get her contact information with the paperwork from this morning's hearing. I'm going to order that you be held on a $500 bond in each of these cases that will be cash or secured.
That is right, Nisha. That's absolutely correct. Yep. All it takes is one mistake, one person telling on you, and that's a wrap. That's how she wrote, and next thing you know, you're in Pima County Court being streamed on TikTok and YouTube at the same time.
As conditions of your release, you are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you're not to have any contact with the alleged victims, and you're not to return to the incident location. Your next court date will be March the 10th, 2025 at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's right, Samantha. You could run, but you can't hide, writes Baby One Ball 2K22.2.0. Gene Gators. A lot of twos up in that name. America Free writes, sorry you're in court. You need to wake up. He's not the gingerbread man.
Now, in your city court cases, looks like you have 4 open files where you have been charged with domestic violence, disorderly conduct, theft or shoplifting, possession of drug paraphernalia, criminal trespass in the 3rd degree, as well as prescription drug violations. You also have, it looks like, some outstanding failures to appear and may have already been arraigned on a probation to revoke. Now, sir, for any charges that you have not already been arraigned or initialed on, I am going to enter not guilties and or denials as appropriate. because I don't.
And for anybody that's interested in to watch the next Maricopa
Thank
stream,
you for your patience, sir. I was just checking something with regards to the status of your probation.
I'm gonna start up
So,
another
sir, in
stream.
these cases, I am going to
on
order
YouTube.
that you be held on a $500 cash or secured bond as well. As conditions of your release, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to commit any acts of domestic violence. You're not to possess any firearms or weapons. You shall not have any contact with any victims or the alleged incident locations. I'm also going to appoint the City Public Defender's Office to represent you. As well. Okay, you said 321. Would that be a video or the? That's a video. Okay. That's what you want to do. Okay. All right, so I'm going to set it for a video review hearing on March 21st, 2025 at, you said 1:45? Yes. At 1:45 in the afternoon. Now, that will be, as I mentioned, a video review hearing. If you bond out of custody, then your court date is going to be April the 3rd, 2025, and that will be at 9:30 in the morning. And sir, if you are released from custody in your matters, you need to make sure you make your various court appearances. If you don't, then a warrant will issue. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All right, that's all for this morning, sir. You're excused.
Okay.
Damn, I just got hit. Hey, I gotta start the stream up
Hello,
again.
can I
I'll be
get your
back in a
name?
moment.
Philip Benjamin Kramer Weintraub.
All right, so we're seeing you this morning for an initial appearance on some new felony charges. It looks like you've been charged with possession of a narcotic drug for sale, possession of drug paraphernalia. Additionally, there is also a separate interim complaint that charges you with criminal damage at the Class 5 felony level, as well as a misdemeanor leaving the scene of an accident and a misdemeanor driving under the influence. Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the Public Defender's Office to represent you. I've read everything presented to me, so I know a little bit about the cases. And I see that the state is asking for a $10,000 bond with pretrial services. Mr. Poston, did you wish to be heard any further?
Your Honor, on the drugs and drug paraphernalia, PTF, 1,000 on what looks like destruction of property and DUI.
Ms. Johnson, did you wish to be heard?
Your Honor, we would ask that you release Mr. Kramer Weintraub to pretrial services supervision so that he can be screened in steps and engage in drug treatment on the drug case. He's not able to do that from the jail. It does appear that his only other felony arrest was in 2008. He has no prior DUI arrests of any kind. Pretrial services, again, would be able to provide drug and alcohol monitoring and screening. Given that, we would ask you give him an opportunity on pretrial services release.
All right, so as a question of logistics with regards to the STEP program, so while I have two separate interim complaints, it looks like they're both tied to the same criminal cause number. Is the criminal damage, Mr. Poston, something that would normally go through the STEPS process? Because if they're...
No, Your Honor, and it actually sullies the ability of that case to go through the STEPS program. If there are two complaints, one involving drugs and drug paraphernalia, that simple paraphernalia and drugs is eligible for steps, but if it's charged under the same number, which it appeared to be somewhat different, if it's charged separately, they can't send it through. We can't bifurcate a single number.
Now, given the uncertainty of that, we would again ask for release. I think if he's able to engage in drug treatment in one of the two cases, if they are indicted separately or if they are charged separately, I think that likely addresses both the issues under. Sorry.
Hey, what up, BK? Happy Saturday. What up, BK?
All right, so
What up?
So I was just getting some additional information from our clerk. So yes, on our end, this is all tied to one case number. It's the same law enforcement agency, agency number, and offense date. So that's something, if they're going to be bifurcated, that's something that somebody else will have to handle in the future. So what I'm going to do in this case, let me just look at something here real quick.
Take your time, Your Honor. The Laker hat is put away right now. Let me see here. Anyone for the
Sorry,
wood
I'm
chipper?
going to
Nah,
release
not
you
today,
to the
not yet.
supervision of pretrial services. You will be monitored by them and you'll need to comply with any treatment or other directions they give you. You're not to possess any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to drive without a valid license, and you're not to possess any firearms or weapons. You're not to have any contact with any of the alleged victims, their residences, their workplaces, or the incident location.
Damn it.
Your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing on March the 28th at 1:30 in the afternoon. You need to make sure you make that court appearance. If you fail to show, then a warrant could issue. Do you understand?
Yes.
Your Honor, will you set a steps hearing just so he can get screened and hopefully engage in that?
If he's, the information I'm getting is that he's not eligible right now because they're all part of the same case. So, sir, there may be another hearing that's set in the future called a steps hearing, but again, that's something that's going to be handled by a different judge. That's all this morning, sir. You're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so we're good to go? So,
What was going on with this sidebar over here? We want to be all up in the mix, if you will.
So it would be both. Jail, we have a slight change to the paperwork for Eric Harper. If you could let him know. So his court dates are going to both be 3/17, both for the video review and for the out of custody review, and that will be at 1:45 in the afternoon. We made the corrections to the paperwork we'll send you.
Yes, we'll let him know, Your Honor.
Hello, can I get your name?
Carolina.
All right, ma'am, we're seeing you this morning for an initial appearance on a new felony charge. You've been charged with 1 count of endangerment. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. Now, I've read the interim complaint, the pretrial services workup, as well as the state's recommendation, so I know a little bit about the case. And I see that the state is asking for a $2,500 bond with pretrial services. Mr. Poston, did you wish to be heard?
No, Judge.
Ms. Johnson?
Your Honor, we would ask that you release Ms. Leonard to pretrial services supervision. This is her first felony arrest of any kind. This is her first DUI arrest of any kind. She's a 1 on the NCA scale, a 1 on the FTA scale. Based on the pretrial services workup, I don't think she has any prior arrests of any kind, misdemeanor or felony. She has no prior failures to appear. Given that, we would ask that you give her an opportunity on pretrial services release.
All right, ma'am, I am going to release you to pretrial services supervision. You will need to comply with any directions they give you in terms of monitoring or treatment. You're not to drive without a valid license. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and you're not to possess any firearms or weapons. Finally, you're not to have any contact with any alleged victims, their residences, or their workplaces, and you're not to return to the incident location. Your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing on March 28th at 1:30 in the afternoon. If you fail to make that court hearing, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, that's all for this morning, ma'am. You're excused.
Next. Damn, we're going on overtime today.
Hello, can I get your name?
Anthony Madrid.
All right, Mr. Madrid, we're seeing you this morning for an initial appearance because you've got some new felony charges alleging that you may have committed the offenses of possession of a narcotic drug and possession of drug paraphernalia. You also have 2 pending warrants out of Pima County Justice Court from 2024 and 2025. In the 24 case, you were charged with shoplifting or removal. And in the 25 case, you were charged with possession of drug paraphernalia. You also have some matters pending in Tucson City Court that we'll talk about here in a second. Now, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, though not necessarily at court expense. You have the right to be present for any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, a warrant could issue for your arrest and those hearings can proceed without you. Now, if you are convicted and you cannot be sentenced within 90 days of your conviction because of your failure to appear, you could also lose your right to a direct appeal. Now, in your felony matter, I've read everything presented to me. I see that the state is requesting pretrial services release with a steps court hearing. I will let both counsel know that I do have concerns just because we have multiple warrants in more than one courthouse. Mr. Poston, did you wish to be heard any further?
They would modify to 3,500 and PTS if released, if posted.
Ms. Johnson, did you wish to be heard?
Your Honor, we would ask that you give him an opportunity on pretrial services release. Again, this is a personal drug possession case. He's eligible to be screened for steps. His last felony arrest was in 2011. I understand this court's concern about the missed hearings, but I think being able to engage in steps, which is only possible outside of the jail, will help him address those issues. Given his steps eligibility, we would ask you give him that opportunity and release him to pretrial services. I'd also note for the court, the warrants that he has pending are not violent. They're not domestic violence related. They're for paraphernalia and shoplifting, which I think, again, is tied to the felony case.
Good job.
I am going to order. Go ahead.
Sorry, he just let me know he recently got a new job.
Okay. So, sir, I am going to order that you be held on a $2,500 bond, cash or secured, with pretrial services in your felony case. You will need to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions they give you. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and possess no firearms or weapons. Now, counsel, it's been mentioned a couple of times this morning that if somebody is in custody, they cannot participate in steps. So is that a change to procedure?
So, Your Honor, my understanding, and Mr. Poston can correct me if I'm wrong, is that the drug treatment is not available inside the jail. I think he could still be screened for steps. And then at the hearing, hopefully set on March 17th, they could determine or change release conditions if necessary or appropriate for him to engage in the program.
All right, so what I will do is I will set a steps hearing for March 17th at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm also going to set a preliminary hearing for March 18th at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Side blade, that's right.
No.
So for the ankle monitor, that's what I think. That's what pretrial services is. I think that's what they put the GPS tracker on there.
Now, in the two justice court cases, starting with the shoplifting one, I'm going to appoint Jill Gookin to represent you. I'm going to order that you be held on a $100 cash or secured bond. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to have any contact with the alleged victim, and you're not to return to the incident location. Your court date in that case will be March the 10th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and the jail will take care of bringing you there if you're still in custody.
What's my main court to get out?
And in your 2025 case, I'm going to order that you be held on the $100 bond in that case as well, cash or secured. I'm going to also appoint Jill Gookin to represent you there. And you will have the same March 10th court date. As conditions of your release, possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs.
Did anybody catch what he did?
Now, in your
I didn't
city
catch
court
it.
cases, looks like you've got a couple.
Guys, I just got hit with a violation. I got to start it up. I'll be back in
So
2
in this one, it
seconds.
looks like the underlying charges involved allegations of theft and disorderly conduct. The DOC was domestic violence. And it looks like you were also the subject of a probation revocation proceeding. So, sir, what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to go ahead and order that you be held on a $1,000 cash or secured bond. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, not to possess any firearms or weapons, not to have any contact with any alleged victims, their residences, or their workplaces. I will be appointing the City Public Defender's Office to represent you. I'm also going to include on your city court paperwork that you have felony holds and justice court holds.
So America Free, I'm running 2 streams.
Now, sir, if
the
you
other
bond
stream,
out of custody in your cases, or if you are
Caught a
otherwise
violation.
released, you need to make sure you make all of your court appearances or a warrant will issue for your arrest. Which reminds me, your next court date in your city court matter is going to be March the 26th, 2025 at 1:30 in the afternoon. That will be with Judge Million. If you are still in custody, the jail will bring you to video court. If you're out of custody, you need to get down to Tucson City Court. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, that's all for this
So
one. Your excuse.
That's the main. Get out. See if I get out.
next up on the prices wrong. Let's see what the
Hello, sir. Can I
sheriff
get your name?
dragged in.
Daniel Perez.
All right, sir. We're seeing you this morning because you have some new felony charges, and you also have some cases that are pending in Tucson City Court. Give me 1 second here. In your felony case, you have been charged with possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of a dangerous drug. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the Public Defender's Office to represent you. Now, in your city court matters, you have one case from 2025, but you have another case from 2018 in which warrants issued. And in those matters, you were charged with contributing to the delinquency of a minor, criminal trespass in the second degree, harassment by communication, as well as failures to appear. So starting with the felony case, I've read everything that was presented to me. It looks like the state is asking for a $2,500 bond with a steps court hearing. Mr. Poston, did you wish to be heard any further?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Johnson?
Your Honor, we would ask that you release him to pretrial services supervision, given the nature of these offenses. We would also ask that you release him so that he could gauge in steps. His last felony arrest was in 2012, and that was also for drug possession. So given that, we would ask you give him an opportunity with pretrial.
So then my dog was arrested. I've got 7 days to get him on. I have a bond. I didn't even want that.
Mr. Prez just let me know that his dog was taken to PAC when he was arrested. He only has 7 days to recover him, so he would ask that you be released so he could get his dog back.
All right, sir, what I'm going to do in your felony matter is I am going to release you to the supervision of pretrial services. You will need to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions they give you. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons. Your next court date, I'm going to give you 2. You're going to have what's known as a steps hearing on March 17th at 9 o'clock in the morning. That's so that we can get you screened to see if you might be eligible for a diversion program through Pima County Superior Court. If you are eligible and if you complete the program, that can have a benefit to your situation. I'm also going to set a preliminary hearing. Ms. Johnson, are you willing to waive time?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to set a preliminary hearing for April 22nd. And that will be at 1:30 in the afternoon. And you need to make sure you make both of those court dates or a warrant will issue. Now looking at your Tucson City Court matters.
Welcome back, Virgo. Should have thought about the dog before, but hopefully steps helps. Probably not. I hate to be negative on this.
We're going to go ahead and do your arraignment today as well. So if I didn't mention it before, you do have the right to be present for any and all court proceedings. However, if you fail to come to court, then a warrant will issue for your arrest, and those hearings can move forward without you. Now, if, in the event you are convicted, if you cannot be sentenced within 90 days of your conviction, you could also lose your right to a direct appeal. I'm going to enter not guilties on your behalf as to any new charges in your city court cases.
You're probably right, Vertigo. It's going to be all bad. All bad, I tell you. Hey, what's up, Kate? How's it going? Caitlin's in the house. And for anybody that's interested, I'm going to be getting some phone calls from prison today from Jesse and David.
Your next court date is going to be April 14th.
In 5 hours.
2025, and that will be at 2:30 in the afternoon. I will release you on your promise to appear. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You're not to have any contact with any alleged victims, their residences, or their workplaces.
What up, Fluffy?
Now, sir, you have a bunch of different court dates. You've got 2 in one case in one courthouse, and you got 2 other cases pending in another courthouse. You need to make each of your hearings or warrants will issue. Do you understand?
This was
yes, ma'am. And it was the 22nd, the 14th, and the 17th.
No way.
You'll get copies of your paperwork as well. That's all for this morning. You're excused.
This was not gonna make it. Come on now. He's gonna miss all 3 of them. No way he's gonna go to them. I put my if I was a betting man, I would put all my money on it.
Hello, can I get your name?
Andres Francisco Salazar.
All right, sir, we're seeing you this morning because you're facing some new felony charges involving allegations of shoplifting, possession of a dangerous drug, possession of a narcotic drug, and possession of drug paraphernalia. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. I've read the pretrial services workup, the interim complaint, and the state's recommendation. State is asking for a $3,500 bond with pretrial services. Mr. Poston, did you wish to be heard any further?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Johnson?
I would ask that you release Mr. Salazar to pretrial services supervision. These are nonviolent property and drug offenses. Pretrial services was able to speak with his sister, who did confirm housing for him. Given that, we would ask you give him an opportunity on pretrial services release.
All right, looking at his history, it looks like he was terminated unsuccessfully from probation just this past January. So, sir, I am going to order you be held on a $2,500 cash or secured bond. You will be supervised by pretrial services if you post that, and you'll need to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions they give you. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, not possess any firearms or weapons. You're not to return to the incident location, and more importantly, you're not to go to any TJ Maxx in Tucson.
Not the TJ Maxx.
Your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing on March 18th at 1:30 in the afternoon. If you are released from custody, sir, it's your responsibility to make your court appearances.
Damn, that wasn't a good one. Look at how much she's moving.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all for this morning, sir. You're excused.
That one can't stand still for 2 seconds.
One.
And he's out of here. Next, we got another itchy one or cold. Damn.
Hello, can I get your name?
You're right.
I don't think the sister knows what he signed though. Where she
All right, sir, you have been charged with some new felony counts involving allegations of possession of a narcotic drug and possession of drug paraphernalia. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. I've read everything presented to me. I see that the state is asking for pretrial services with a steps court hearing. My inclination is to follow that recommendation. Does either side wish to be heard any further?
No, Judge.
No, Your Honor, we will waive time for the PH.
You just need to trim that thing off, Cat. That thing is just probably infested with lice.
So, sir, what the parties are telling me is that you may be eligible for a diversion program. I need you to pay attention, sir. You may be eligible for a diversion program through Pima County Superior Court. You need to go to a hearing on March 17th, 2025 at 9 o'clock in the morning to see if you're eligible and see if it's something you're interested in doing. If you complete the program, then it can have a beneficial result to your case. I'm also going to set a preliminary hearing on April 22nd, 2025 at 1:30 in the afternoon. As conditions of your release, you will be supervised by pretrial services. You'll need to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions they give you. You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons. Now, sir, you need to make sure you make both of your court appearances or a warrant will issue. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's all for this morning. You're excused.
Now get out of my sight. definitely hard timing it.
Well,
If anything, if anybody could learn anything from this, I would suggest don't do rugs because they definitely mess your life up.
Hello, can I get your name?
Daniel Eugene Swartz.
Also known
All
as
right, so
Abe
we're
Lincoln.
seeing you this morning for some new felony charges where you've been charged with, it looks like, 3 counts of arson of a structure.
Damn.
You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the public defender's office to represent you. Now, I've read the interim complaint, the pretrial services workup, as well as the state's recommendation. I see that the state is asking for a $75,000 bond with pretrial services. Mr. Poston, did you wish to be heard any further?
Likes to play with fire.
No, Your Honor.
Yep, she
Ms.
did
Johnson?
say arson.
Your Honor, pretrial services scored him at a 2, and also indicated he has no prior felony arrest of any kind.
A 2?
He does not have an active NVCA flag. He has no prior misdemeanor convictions.
Let this fool
No
out.
prior failures to appear in the past 2 years. Given that, we would ask you give him an opportunity on pretrial services, please.
You're out of your mind, PD. No way. Absolutely not. That's who I don't want to get out right there for sure. Because this was a firebug. Be lighting up, playing with matches, light up somebody's house or a car. Or...
All right, sir, I am going to release you to the supervision of pretrial services. You will need to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions they give
hell
you.
nah.
You are also not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs and possess no firearms or weapons. You're not to have any contact with any alleged victims or the incident locations. Sir, are you currently hooked up with a behavioral health provider?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm also going to order that you complete a behavioral health assessment or intake at a licensed provider within the next 30 days.
He don't look like the type of person that has insurance.
I have a question, Your Honor.
Just a moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, like shut your mouth, Abe Lincoln.
Kodak. Your Honor, he let me know he has access. I think he was asking if Kodak would be an appropriate behavioral health agency. I told him I believe the answer is yes.
Yes, Kodak is absolutely a perfectly fine agency for the purposes of this. So go to Kodak, just tell them you need a behavioral health assessment, get that, and then you can give proof of that to your pretrial services officer and to your attorney. Your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing on March 28th, 2025 at 1:30 in the afternoon. Now, as part of that assessment, if it recommends any kind of treatment, I'm also going to order that you comply with that treatment. Do you understand?
Hey, thank you, Sandra. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's what I want to know. How the hell is this dude going to get released?
Sir, so if you fail to make your hearing on the 28th, a warrant could issue for your arrest.
He's not going to come. He's guaranteed he's not going to make it.
All right, that's all for this morning, sir. You're excused.
There's no way.
I'm going to be the next court date.
Yep, so there's another court date. That's pretrial services. Call them Monday. That's your attorney. Call them Tuesday. But you'll also get paper from the jail with all those numbers too.
Okay, yeah, and then the other thing is
this was a pyro. That's crazy. I'm at a loss of words right here. I'm baffled. I'm shocked. This is outrageous. He's a firebug. That fool. He set a dwelling in on fire, if you will. They must be full. Shit, they should have made space for this fool. Cause they definitely in that jail right there. They got those fire retardant covers and beds. Yeah. Next. All right. Well, can't dwell on this. We just gotta go on the.
Can I get your name?
We got Whitlam.
Peter Thompson, Your Honor.
We got William Shatner here.
All right, sir, we're seeing you this morning on a couple of different cases. It looks like you have an outstanding warrant from another jurisdiction. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, you also have some new aggravated DUI and criminal damage felony charges here.
Never mind. Oh, excuse me, Your Honor.
Who's that talking?
So, sir, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney, and I'm appointing the legal defender's office to represent you. Now, as to the new charges here, I have read the interim complaint, the pretrial services workup, as well as the state's recommendation. I see that they're asking for a $10,000 bond with pretrial services. Mr. Poston, did you wish to be heard any further?
No, Judge.
Ms. Johnson?
Your Honor, we would ask that you give Mr. Thompson an opportunity on pretrial release. Pretrial did score him at a 1. I understand he does have the warrant pending in Colorado, but he has no other criminal history, no other felony arrests, no other DUI arrests or convictions. Given that, we would ask you give him an opportunity on pretrial services release, given their ability to require that he engage in drug and alcohol testing and monitoring.
All right.
Judge, I just note the value of the bond. It's quite substantial. They didn't set it for no reason.
All right, sir. So I am looking at your history. It looks like the case in Colorado is alleged to have occurred not that long ago in 2022 involving similar charges. So, sir, I am going to order that you be
They're bad
held on a
charges.
$10,000 cash or secured bond in this case. You will be supervised by pretrial services if you post that, and you will need to comply with any monitoring or treatment directions they give you.
What was
You're
his
not to
name again?
Possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, not possess any firearms or weapons, and not drive without a valid license. Your next court date will be a preliminary hearing on March the 18th at 1:30 in the afternoon.
They didn't say his charges for a reason. I'm not
Now,
sure if
in
you guys
your
caught that.
Other case, so this is a fugitive warrant that was issued out of Adams County, Colorado for
His last name
charges
was
relating
Johnson.
to
Thank you,
assault
Dave.
as well as driving under the influence. The amount
David.
listed in the warrant is a $50,000 bond amount.
Yeah.
Now, sir, what I'm going to do in this case is did either side wish to be heard at all in terms of release conditions on this case?
This case right now, but the first case, they
Ms.
didn't mention what the
Again, Your
charges
Honor,
were.
we would ask that you impose a nominal bond for time credit. Given the $10,000 bond imposed in the other case, I think that's going to effectively hold him no bond.
So in this case,
They said that the charges on the
Colorado
second
matter,
case,
I am going to
not on the first one.
hold you on a $25,000 cash or secured bond. You will be supervised again by pretrial services if you post that.
Oh,
not
first
to
with
possess
DUI?
or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, possess
one
no
of them.
firearms or weapons, and you're not to have any contact with any of the alleged victims. Now, I'm going to set a fugitive warrant hearing on March 13th, 2025 at 2:30 in the afternoon, and the legal defender will be appointed on this case as well. All right, sir, that's all for this morning. You're excused. Counsel,
Thank you.
Dale, I believe that's everybody on the docket, unless you guys show something else.
No, Judge.
That's it.
No. All right. Hey, guys. Well, this is it for now. If you guys want to continue watching, I would suggest for you guys to jump on over to YT, YouTube at CollectCallFrom. Right here. At CollectCallFrom. I'm gonna leave the streams running. I'm gonna have 2 streams running. I got Dade County and then Maricopa just started off. I'm gonna log off for a bit. I got some other things I gotta do around the house, like sleep, because I'm short on sleep right now. I went to sleep really late, but I'll be back throughout the day. At 3 o'clock, I got some scheduled calls from prison, from Centinela State Prison, and we're gonna go ahead and do that. And then I'll also be doing some court hearings throughout the day. So, hey, I do appreciate you guys. Can you send it to me? Send what to you? It's at CollectCallFrom. So it's the same. Or you just go to my profile. There's a link on the profile. At CollectCallFrom. I got 2 streams. So depending on what you want to watch, make sure you hit the right one. You want Dade County or Maricopa County. Anyways, hey, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you haven't done so, please do so. Hit that follow button. It's free 99. Doesn't cost you a thing. And like I say around here, life's like a candle. Once you blow it out, it's lights out. And with that, I'm out. Rato.